regular season when St. John's defeated Marion Local, and been looking forward to this rematch for a long time. Pregame show brought to you by the St. Rita's Medical Center, the region's leader in medical care. From our sports medicine walk-in clinics to 24-hour express and emergency care, that is why there's St. Rita's. Almost a sold-out Lima Stadium here tonight. Mike Richards with me, along with Scott Stiles, ready to bring you all the action. And let's go to you first, Mike. I know you've done a lot of research on this football game because it's a game that everyone's been looking forward to for the last number of weeks. And I know that a lot of people are saying this actually could be the state championship game.
Well, it certainly is going to be a great ball game, you know, and with talk about the Marion Local Flyers, balance is the key to their offense. It has been. I believe they're averaging about 35 points a game during their 3 playoff games, and against a group of opponents that had about, the record was 30-3 going into those games against them. So, matter of fact, Coach Todd Schulte of the St. John's Blue Jays thinks this is probably the most balanced offensive attack his team's faced all year. And defensively, the Flyers have also been able to take away the heart of an opponent on offense last week in the regional final game against Tiffin Calvert. They held a Calvert quarterback who had thrown 36 touchdown passes for the year to 1 TD pass and had 11 completions in 31 attempts. So they've done a great job. So I think, you know, certainly St. John's is not a one-dimensional offense, and they're going to have to be a complete defense tonight to contain them.
Well, I'm glad that at least somebody in our crew did some research on this game, because I know that Stiles just kind of walks in and does his thing. But the thing we want to talk about here, Scott, is one statistic that you got to look at. And I know that you can walk around this stadium. We're out in the parking lot before the ball game. Everybody's throwing around these predictions and such. But one number you do have to look at is the defense of St. John's, only giving up 5.2 points per ball game. And if you are Marion Local, what do you do to try to put some points up on the board?
Well, you start out with your same game plan you established all year. You try to establish your run. They're a run-dominated team, and you try to hope for the best. You want to control the ball and sustain drives, and you cannot make mistakes. Tonight, for Marion Local to win this football game, they have to play mistake-free, and if they do that, they have a good shot at winning this football game. But any kind of little mistake, a fumble, anything like that to turn it back over this high-powered offense of Delphos, they're in trouble.
Well, we've talked about it. We are now ready to bring it all to you here on Fox. Pregame show brought to you by our good friends at the St. Rita's Medical Center, the region's leader in medical care. From our sports medicine walk-in clinics to 24-hour express and emergency care, that, Mike, is why there is St. Rita's. Coming up next, he's been working on these for a couple of days, too, our keys to the game, as well as our starting lineups. It all comes up next right here on Fox. Stay with us.
Dave, you feel You wouldn't know it by the looks of my schedule, but I'm having surgery today. And thanks to the new Surgery and Endoscopy Center of West Central Ohio, I'll be in and out in the same day.
Good morning. How are you today?
The new surgery center is just across the street from St. Rita's and has complete range of medical services. So I get peace of mind, quality care, and the convenience of having my surgery and recovery all in the same day. With the time I'll save, I might have a few minutes to relax before dinner.
Dad, he started it. Oh, dear.
Betty?
I see you've been in the kids' magic set again, Bob.
I discovered a way to save us money every month. Watch this. And this, voila.
Wow, how'd you do that?
Simple. I called the Loan Zone at 1-800-LOANS-US. Their rates are low and the paperwork's a breeze. We can use a home equity loan to shrink our monthly bills and buy other things like this.
Oh, Bob.
Or this.
I love the Loan Zone.
Call 1-800-LOANS-US for low rates every day. The Loan Zone, member National City Corporation, equal housing lender.
For years, since you were a very small child, we've been helping your family. Always there, quietly providing support when it was needed. Now it's your turn. A family of your own, with all the joys and responsibilities that families bring. And we're still right here, where we've always been.
Citizens Bank of Delphos, your hometown bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. WOHL Lima's Fox Station, in cooperation with the Ohio High School Athletic Association, is proud to present tonight's playoff game. A fee has been paid to the OHSAA for the broadcast rights of this game. Without the support of the following businesses, this game would not have been possible. Morris Chiropractic Clinic. Make a U-turn to health. Visit Drs. Thomas and Roger Morris at the Morris Chiropractic Clinic in Delphos. Kewpie Hamburger, home of the Mighty Nice Hamburger. Kewpie East, Kewpie West, and Kewpie Downtown. Delphos Food Locker, now featuring a variety of fresh meats, cheese, and frozen specialties like appetizers and soups. Stop by the Delphos Food Locker today. A&J Woodworking, expert craftsmen of fine cabinetry and certified Corian fabricators. Call A&J Woodworking at 695-5655. United Equity Incorporated, located in Delphos, Spencerville, and Kossuth, your locally owned farmers cooperative. Reliable Plumbing and Heating. Call Reliable Plumbing and Heating at 695-2921 for all your plumbing, heating, and air conditioning needs. Reliable also has 24-hour emergency service. Community First Bank and Trust is now offering 6.0 annual percentage yield CDs for 9 months with a minimum deposit of $500. Limited time offer which may be changed at any time. APY accurate as of announcement date for personal deposits of less than $100,000. Interest penalty for early withdrawal, member FDIC. WOHL Lima's Fox Station congratulates all student athletes and wishes them the best on their road to the state championship.
Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to Lima Stadium, where tonight we've got the Division VI state semifinal game between the Delphos St. John Blue Jays, the #1 team of the state of Ohio, up against the Marion local Flyers. The Blue Jays come in 13-0, and the Flyers at 10-3. Time right now to find out where the keys to this high school game are. Brought to you by Mike Pruitt Ford, where you'll discover for yourself that nobody beats a Mike Pruitt deal. Nobody. And to bring you the keys for tonight, here's Mike Richards.
Thanks, Carl. 3 keys tonight. Starts with the first one, eliminate turnovers. Both teams have been very opportunistic throughout the season. Marion Local has 27 takeaways, which is a little over 2 per game, while St. John's has a mind-boggling 40 takeaways, including 27 interceptions, 5 of those for touchdowns. Second key to the game is special teams play. History proves that part of any big game is decided with the special teams. Both teams cannot afford to allow this to be a adversity tonight. Field position and momentum can be determined by special teams play, and this is definitely going to be a key. Finally, I feel fourth quarter play is going to be important. At this point of the playoffs, most games are tight games going into the fourth quarter. Since their last meeting, the margin of victory for both Marion Local and St. John's has been such that probably most of their starters have sat out most of the fourth quarter. Tonight, I feel that the starters will have to go the distance, and the conditioning for that will be a key.
Thank you, Mike. The key is brought to you by Mike Pruitt Ford, where you'll discover for yourself that nobody beats a Mike Pruitt deal. Nobody. St. John's has won the toss. They're going to get the football first. Let's go down to Scott Stiles on the sideline. And, Scott, we talked about a possible sold-out Lima Stadium. Looks that way.
Carl, right now the cops are down the end. They just put that new brick wall up. Well, people are all over that thing, sitting on top of it. They're on the fences. They're sitting on top of fences. They just moved everybody off that wall. So now people are looking for seats all over again. You were right in your prediction. It is a sellout. Back to you.
Thank you. 42 straight wins for the Blue Jays. 7 shutouts this year. They are your MAC champs. Region 24. Todd Schulte, the first-year head coach. 9 returning starters. 4 on the offense, 5 on the defense. 22 returning lettermen. They'll run out of the Pro I offense, and they've got a 43 defense. They average almost 50 points a game. They give up 5.2. Flyers 10-3. Region 22. They run out of the Pro I and a 44 defense. And Tim Goodwin's brought them here after they were 3-7 last year. Their 3rd trip to the playoffs. Their first since 1993. They average over 30 points a game. They give up 16. They beat Tiffin Calvert last week 38-12. St. John's won big over Ansonia last week as well. We are ready to get this one underway, and again, it's going to be Marion Local kicking off. Bart Heckman is going to put the foot into it. Back deep, Zach Weber for Delphos St. John's with Hershey and Ian Weber. And the ball is going to be taken by Hershey at the 18-yard line across the 25. He cuts it back to the right and keeps on trying to stretch it that way, and he's going to go down at the 27-yard line. Let's tell you now about the starting lineups brought to you by St. Rita's Sports Medicine Walk-In Clinics, open from 7:30 to 9 o'clock a.m. Monday through Saturday, 830 West High Street in Lima. We'll check the starters for you after this first play by the Jays. We will tell you Scott McCormick is their quarterback, 6'2", 215, a senior, and watch out for Zach Weber, number 37, a 5'7", 145-pound senior tailback. The Jays 1st and 10 to the 29-yard line. First play of this state semifinal game, Division VI. That's Becker in motion for the Jays out of the I formation. They go at the first back through, and that's Adam Miller, the fullback, and he picks up about 7 yards. Let's check the rest of that starting lineup for you. Adam Miller is the fullback, 6'2", 196-pound sophomore. The flankers, Aaron Becker, number 29. I told you about Zach Weber. The line, and they're a good one, Phil Gunder. Offensive Player of the Year on the line, 51. He's the center. The guards are Scott Miller and Nick Yeager. The tackles are Kyle Minning and Andy Becker. Your split end, John Odenweller. And your tight end is Ryan Morris. We'll tell you about the Flyer defense after this next play. Second down, 2 from the 37-yard line. McCormick will go with the option. Keeps it, picks up the first down, and much more as he's all the way out near midfield. Let's check now the starting defense for Marion Local. That front line, Dustin Toby, Jim Gear, Ryan Evers, and Dave Oddie. Linebackers, got some good ones. Mitch Schmackers is a real good one, 169 tackles this year. The other backers are Mike Clone, Todd Toby, and Aaron Winter. The cornerbacks, Corey Albers and Kevin Toby, and your safety is Mitch Kanapke. Those are your starters on the offense and defense for the Jays and the Flyers. First down and 10 from the 49-yard line. Man will jump off sides, and it's going to be a penalty against the Marion Local Flyers, Mike.
Yeah, they started out, St. John's looks like they're trying to establish their option game. They started out, ran the fullback on the first play, and then Scott McCormick took it on the second down to pick up the first down after faking the fullback part of the option play. They're going to establish that option. One thing interesting, they're running it into the sidelines away from the strength of the formation.
Last time these two teams met, St. John's won 24-7. Zach Weber had 183 yards on 28 carries in that game. And that game was a lot closer than the final score indicates. It was 17-7 down in the fourth quarter, and St. John's got that final touchdown. First and 5, they'll go with Zach Weber. Weber cuts it back up the middle, and he'll go down, and he's going to be a couple of yards short of the first down. St. John's defeated Ansonia last week 68-15 in the game we had right here on Fox. They blew out Springfield 49-8 and knocked off Minster 76-0. Marion Local defeated Pandora 28-3, Macomb 41-20, and also Tiffin Calvert 38-12 to make it this far. It's going to be a second down 2 from the 43-yard line. This is McCormick out of the I formation, goes with a pitch, toss to Weber, and he picks up the couple of yards, enough for the first down for Delphos St. John's.
Yeah, again, their offense is the option offense or the toss, and they bring that toss. They're either going to go wide with it or bring it off tackle. That time again into the short side of the field, and Weber took it off tackle.
So another first down for Delphos St. John's. They are now at the 40-yard line of Marion Local. 9 minutes, 50 seconds remaining here in this first quarter. Still no score on the Lone Zone scoreboard. Play action. There's a quick pass on the left side of the field to Morris, and it's going to go incomplete. The first time we see the all-out blitz there, Mike.
Yeah, they brought a lot of people. They had St. John's had no tight end on that, so there was a lot of room. The pressure came, and Scott McCormick was lucky to get that one off and forced a high pass.
Let's go down to Scott Stiles on the sideline.
Well, Carl, right now I think the philosophy of Delphos is to wear the smaller front out of Marion Local. They were moving the ball well on the ground. I think they'll go back to it right here. Back to you guys.
Second down 10 from the 40-yard line. McCormick goes with the handoff to Weber. Weber is going to pick up a couple, and that's going to be about it. Scott McCormick, 83 of 149 this year, 1,581 yards, 24 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions. Weber with over 2,000 yards this year on 216 carries and 30 touchdowns. Jordan Bowers did a great job this year backing up Zach Weber, has over 600 yards and 10 touchdowns. Then look out for John Odenweller, one of the receivers, over 500 yards in receptions. And Morris, Ryan Morris, a tight end with almost 500 yards as well. Third down and 6 for the Jays from the 36-yard line. McCormick, play action, looking to throw. Defense there, wobbly pass is going to go incomplete. Fourth down for Delphos St. John's.
A lot of pressure again by the Marion Local front. Gave it that offset look out of the pro formation, St. John's, that they're accustomed to, but a lot of pressure forcing Scott to throw a bad pass, and so great job by the Marion Local defense.
We'll see now how The Marion local Flyers will stack up on offense, and remember, they're going to be going up against a very good Delphos St. John Blue Jay defense, yielding just 5 points per ball game. Martz with a punt. It's going to be a short one. Fair catch called for, then it goes into the end zone. Touchback, and let's check now the offense for the Marion local Flyers. Their quarterback is Mitch Kanapke, a junior at 185 pounds, over 1,500 yards passing this year. Travis Unrast is their tailback, 6 foot, 180-pound senior, over 1,300 yards rushing this year. The fullback is number 11, Aaron Winter, 6-footer. He's a senior, and he's got over 200 yards rushing this year. Flanker is B.J. Walters. Watch out for him, 6'3", 176, just a junior. We'll check the rest of the starters after this first play from scrimmage by Kanapke. Throws the ball out, going to be caught by Winter. Winter all the way down to the 25-yard line. Nice play there, first play for the Flyers. Let's check the rest of the offense. The center is Eric Mullenkamp, 71. The guards are Brad Creamer and Scott Creamer. The tackles, Ron Holman and Craig Oddie. And then the ends are Cole Dallinghouse and also Adam Grisham. We'll check the Delphos St. John Blue Jay defense for you after this next play. Going to set up a 2nd down and 3 situation. The ball resting to the 27-yard line. Still no score here in this first quarter. Kanapke goes with the handoff, and the Blue Jay defense there, but looks like Mike, he's got enough for a first down.
Yeah, ran a sprint draw off of that formation, motioned their wing back across to give him in a slot look, and picked up the first down.
Check the defense, and they've got some good ones on that front line. Joe Cathcart one end, Rocky Klaus the other. Kyle Jackson and Matt Schwinnen are your tackles. The linebackers, Doug Martz, Keith Recker, and Sean Ardner. By the way, Sean, our player of the game last week. We'll check the cornerbacks and safeties after this play. Kanapke wants to throw again out of the pocket, looks downfield, has a receiver, and he throws it out of bounds, and we've got a flag down on the field, though, right down near that play. Cornerbacks are Randy Grodhouse and Craig Hershey, and your safeties are Chuck Hain and Jeff Fisher. Those are all the starters for tonight, brought to you by St. Rita's Sports Medicine Walk-In Clinics, open from 7:30 to 9 o'clock a.m., Monday through Saturday, 830 West High Street in Lima. Penalty coach going to go against the Flyers.
Yeah, offensive pass interference, I believe, out there, so there'll be a loss of down and the penalty, I believe.
Let's get out of Scott Stiles.
What happened was, Carl, the receiver actually pulled the defensive jersey back, trying to get a little leverage. Now, I want to point out one thing. The first 2 plays, Marion Local has done a very good job of influencing the aggressiveness of the Delphos defense. First time was a screen pass where they were coming. The second time was they had a pass influence block, you call it. You let them come hard, take them to the outside, then you run the sprint draw right back up the middle. Let's see what they do here, but it hasn't slowed down the aggressiveness. That last time they came back hard on the blitz again. Back to you.
Well, it's a 2nd and land deck for this one. Ball at the 16-yard line. 7:48 remaining first quarter. Kanapke across the middle, incomplete.
And they had trips set out to the left, Carl, on that play, and just kind of scrambled and had some people open in the seams.
Delphos St. John's finished up the campaign regular season, the AP #1 football team in the state of Ohio. And since that time, when we get to the playoffs here, a lot of teams have dropped out, and we are down now to top 4 in the state of Ohio. And we'll be telling you as this game goes on about the other 2 teams. Of course, the other 2 going to have 1 eliminated tonight as well, and we're going to be at the state championship game next week in Canton. 3rd down and 25. Kanapke back to throw, looking down the field, and he has a receiver, but the Jay defense back there yet again, and nice job by Randy Grodhouse, who has 7 interceptions this year. That's the most on this Blue Jay team. Craig Hershey with 6 interceptions. And that defense led by a lot of guys for Delphos St. John's, but I had a good article in the Lima News this week telling you about how Doug Martz works on the defense with Jeff Fisher and how they can almost pick out plays that the offense is going to run. Punt from around the 6-yard line by the Marion local Flyers, and Travis Unrast, and it's knocked around and finally covered by the Jays, but they're going to have pretty good field position as Craig Hershey had some problems back there with it.
Yeah, that still was a pretty good punt for Marion local. No return, and again, special teams are going to be a big part of tonight's ball game.
2 teams left yet, Mike. Norwalk St. Paul 12-1, and Danville 9-4. And one of these teams right here are going to take on one of those teams next week.
Yeah, and I know last week Norwalk St. Paul won on a 44-yard field goal as time ran out.
Of course, the Jays matched up with Norwalk St. Paul a couple of years ago for a state championship game. Of course, they beat Lancaster Fisher Catholic last year. Handoff and pickup of a couple of yards. This Marion local defense pretty fired up.
Yeah, and it looks like St. John's trying to establish the fullback part of the option. Right now they line up in the straight eye, almost as they're looking for that option game to come at them.
Coming up at the half, we'll have Tim Beckman up here in the press box with us. Tim, of course, winning a big game last night over Liberty Center in Division 5, 35-28, a game you had a chance to see, Mike.
That was a great game.
We'll talk to Tim about that and state championship next week. 2nd down 7 from the 49. This is an option by the quarterback McCormick. Pitches it back. Look at Zach Weber. Gets it to the outside, and he is close to a first down for Delphos St. John's. And looks like he's got it.
Continue to run the option into the short side of the field. Really shouldn't cause a lot of problems for the defense, but they seem to be getting some real estate from it.
Kind of neat tonight also. We got 2 first-year head coaches bringing their teams to the state semifinal football game. Todd Schulte and Tim Goodwin.
And they both came about in a little different way. Tim inheriting a program that was 3-7 a year ago, and of course Todd has 2 state champions to try to follow that act of.
1st and 10 for the 42. Again, play action. They set up the short pass to Miller. Miller going to get out close to another first down for Delphos St. John's. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
That's a great play action right there, Carl. Scott McCormick's doing a great job of directing the offense. Watch him to come back more in the option, because that fullback play early in the football game where they gave it to him twice in a row really opened up the option early. Now they're coming to the short side of the field because they're overloading on the wide side of the field. Therefore, they're coming back to the short side, having success on the option there as well. Back to you.
So it's going to be a 2nd down and short. Let's call it 1 for the Jays to the 32-yard line. They give it first back through, picks up the first down for Delphos St. John's. Should mention, when this Marion local team started their season off this year, they knocked off last year's Division 5 state champions, Versailles, 28-22, and then lost to St. Henry after that in a very close ball game, 26-23. Came back the final next week and knocked off Coldwater. So I think they knew even at the beginning of the season that something like this could happen.
Yeah, you go out and you start out first year's program and you beat Versailles' first ball game. That increases the confidence level of your kids.
And Tim has had these guys work hard all season long, and it's paid off for them. 1st and 10 for the 27. Pitch back, and falling down is Weber. And Scott, the footing really not too bad down there on the field tonight.
Well, no, the only problem is, Carl, is there's a heavy dew on the ground, and there's hardly any grass. I shouldn't say there's any grass, but the grass is real short. It's cut real short. And footing is a little treacherous out here, especially in the middle part of the field where you just get into the crown part. So we'll look for that later on tonight.
Wow.
That's impressive.
It's amazing. 2nd down and 12. For the Jays, 29-yard line. Scott McCormick looking over the defense. Out of the I formation, he wants to fake pitch. Look down the right sideline. Now he's in trouble. Flushed out of the pocket, and the ball is caught. No, he's out of bounds, though. So this is going to set up a 3rd down situation. Go ahead, Mike.
I think Marion was in a man coverage that time, so the play-action fake had no influence at all on the secondary, and they were with him the whole way.
4 minutes and 43 seconds remaining here in our first quarter of play. We still have no score on the Lone Zone scoreboard. And St. John's faced with, this will be the first time I think I've seen them all year if they go and do not get a touchdown after going on a 3rd down here.
They're in shotgun, and I think they got a little moment from the right tackle of the J offensive line.
See, the officials are talking it over. And let's see what they're going to say. It is going to go against Delphos St. John's. You're right, Mike. So it's going to move them back to a 3rd and 17. What I was saying is, watching the Jays this year, we've seen them go out on the first series of plays and not score before, but I haven't seen them all season long go 2 series in a row without scoring. This would be a big defensive stand for Marion local here if they can hold them on a 3rd and 17. Ball at the 34-yard line. McCormick out of the shotgun, looking downfield. Receiver, no, he's down there, but Odenweller was open around the 15-yard line, but looked like he was running towards the middle of the field, and the intended receiver down the left sideline. Looked like Becker down there, Aaron Becker. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
McCormick did a good job of throwing the football out for Becker to have a chance for a dive at it, but it was great coverage, and they just weren't. Odenwiller curled in, which freed up the outside pattern, Carl, but Odenwiller just could not, or Becker could not make the catch. Back to you.
Okay, so Doug Marks is going to have to punt again. He's averaging about 43 yards every time he kicks the ball. From the 44-yard line, he puts the foot into it. And again, a little bit too much for Doug, and it goes into the end zone. So Marion Local will bring their offense out. 1st and 10, another nice job on the D.
Yeah, Marion Local defense is playing real well. You know, they've had in the playoff games have been able to take away a lot of the things that the teams coming in have been the strong parts for them. But certainly when you look at St. John's, they're not one-dimensional. They run the toss, they run the option game, and they've been known to be able to throw the ball pretty well too.
Mitch Kanapke is the quarterback. He'll go with the option keeper, and he picks up about 3 or 4 yards. Kanapke on the rush this year has over 500 yards rushing, Mike, 120 carries. So he is, you know, that you look at these two teams and you look at the offense, they both run out of the Pro I. St. John's 43 defense, Marion Local the 44, very similar.
Right. You know, Marion's offense, Kanapke, he's the leader as far as total offense, has 2,114 total yards this year.
2nd down, 6. Kanapke wants to throw. He's got a short pattern set up, and it's complete to number 42, Cole Dallinghouse, and he's 6'4" sophomore. And you talked to Tim Goodwin before the game, Mike, about Dallinghouse, and looked at the number of receptions he had, and he quickly gets one here.
Yeah, he, you know, you look on their stats, and I don't think he's mentioned. I don't think he's got a catch this year. And Tim told me then, he said, well, look for him to catch a few tonight.
That's right. He did say that. 1st down and 10 now from the 34-yard line as this first quarter ticking away. Just over 3 minutes remaining. They go with a little counter action this time, and nothing going on. That J defense just swarming that time as they tried to get the football.
I think that was a matter of just being overpowered up front. The line of scrimmage war that time was won by the St. John Blue Jays. They got a little penetration and nowhere for the running back to go.
Travis Unrast, a 6 foot, 180-pound senior, over 1,300 yards rushing this year. B.J. Walters on the rush with 146 yards and almost 900 yards in receptions. 39 catches this year for Walters. 2nd down, 13 from the 31-yard line. Kanapke, play action again, looking downfield, and that one's picked off. Picked off by the Jays, and it looks like Grodehouse again gets another interception. Randy Grodehouse, his 8th interception of the season. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Grodehouse is just playing center field, Carl. The spot of the throw, just follow the quarterback's eyes. Grodehouse has a sense for the football. How many times have we seen that happen this year? And we've only done maybe 4 or 5 games. Every time we've done a game, he has a nose and a sense for the football. He picks one off, gets the momentum back in Delphos' favor. Back to you.
Okay, St. John's now with the football. Let's see if the turnover, and that was one of our keys, talking about which team was going to make the mistakes to allow the other team to get on the board. Here it is for St. John's with the option keeper by McCormick, and he doesn't get a whole lot.
You know, here's a case of sudden change for the Marion Local defense, and that's what, you know, they answer the bell here. You know, this will be big for them, because not only have they been able to slow down the St. John's offense, it's really had pretty good field position for most of the first quarter.
I'd like to thank Arby's. We're saving a place for you at any one of the Lima or Bluffton restaurants, and the Delphos Food Locker, your headquarters for fresh meat and cheese. A couple of our great sponsors here on Fox. 2nd down, 9 from the 34-yard line. This time they hand the football off to Miller, and doesn't get a whole lot again. Marion Local Flyer defense there to set up a 3rd down. I'd like to thank good old Red Newmeyer. Brought some hot apple pie up here in the box with us tonight. And good friends from the Carriage Inn. Able to bring some more of those wraps up here and some wings and such. Making sure you guys are all filled with some delicious food. 3rd down and 7. From the 32-yard line, under 2 minutes to go here in this first quarter of play. They run the draw play to Weber, and he's not going to get anything. Again, that Marion Local Flyer defense there, Mike.
Yes, they're going to punt it again. You know, they've punted this the 3rd time they've punted from this position. I'm not sure if I wouldn't be looking for a fake punt this time. Certainly Coach Schulte, would like to see his kicker maybe get it out of bounds instead of kicking it into the end zone every time and bringing it out to the 20.
Yep, so let's see what Martz does. It's happened before. Doug Martz, number 36, punter for Delphos St. John's. Marion local back there with Travis Unrast and B.J. Walters, and Martz will kick it, but it's going to be a short little kick. And it still is going to go inside to 5, and do they save it? No.
Nope.
I tell you, it was close that time, but a couple too many rolls there and bounces.
Yep. That's 3 times that they've punted from the from inside to 50, and all 3 times same results, kicked it into the end zone.
Well, Scott, something that surprises us already. 3 times now the Jays have had to give up the football without scoring.
Well, that last play was an exceptional defensive play. They brought all the linebackers, but they kept one who was a spy. He just kind of floated, and he ate Weber right up, I tell you. Great game so far down here.
A minute remaining here in this first quarter. Kanapke, the quarterback for the Marion local Flyers under Mullenkamp. Man will be in motion. They go with the keeper by the quarterback, and he is not going to go anywhere on that one. Sets up a second down.
You talk about the St. John's defense. Of course, Fisher was their leading tackler going into today's game, but the next 4 are the linebackers. So both teams have excellent linebacker play. I know the leading tackler for Marion local is Mitch Schumacher.
Sean Ardner was our player of the game last week, one of the linebackers for St. John's. He's got 113 tackles. Martz with 98, Recker with 102. Chad Martin with 108 tackles. Second down, 10. Kanapke looking deep down the left sideline. Receivers there, but so is the defensive back. And again, Randy Grotehouse doing the job down there on the defense for Delphos St. John's.
Yeah, they're trying to go that deep pattern. I know last week against Calvert, they hit some long passes to B.J. Walters, and trying to go the same way again.
Stop in and check out a great lineup of lane action recliners at Westrich Furniture. 3 locations in Delphos. Good old Jack Westrich and Jane and Mel and the gang invite you to stop on by. Great time of the year to pick up a lane recliner. A lane action recliner for you too, Mike.
Well, thanks, Carl.
Third down and 10 from the 20. Kanapke looking down the right sideline, and Hershey's down there, and that time the receiver had to play defensive back, and that was Travis Unrast. But a nice job by Craig Hershey, who has 6 interceptions this year.
Yeah, again, looking at the receiving of the Flyers, Walters, and B.J. Walters is the leading receiver. He had 39 catches. The other one is Adam Gresham, and he had 36.
Now it's time for Marion local to punt with 10 seconds remaining here in this first quarter. Unrast gets the kickoff. It's a good one. And back there, taking it around the 41-yard line for Delphos St. John's is Fisher, and he's not going to get much more than that. And our first quarter has come to an end. We have played 12 minutes of action, state semifinal game, Division 6, high school football from Lima Stadium. No score after 1 quarter of play here on Fox.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could synchronize traffic to your every movement? If you could do away with all obstacles. Even make trains run on your schedule. It's like that at Shell, where our stations are designed so nothing slows you down. Shell, moving at the speed of life.
Realize you have a life. We want to work around it. Arby's is looking for people to fill a variety of positions at our 5-area restaurant. We offer premium starting wages, immediate raises, bonuses for everyone, advancement opportunities you can count on. Arby's is expanding and wants you to enjoy these growth opportunities with us. Arby's offers a 401k program with matching contributions, as well as meal benefits. Stop by any of the 4 Lima Arby's restaurants or our Bluffton restaurant for an immediate interview. We realize you have a life. We want to work around it.
Hi, I'm Tom Owen. I may have famous feet, but I'm even more famous for my wild earring clearance sale. And it's here, your opportunity to pick from over 600 late model used factory vehicles at thousands under book value, like 99 Nias or 98 Cavaliers, just $94.99. We've got 99 Intrepid, Olds, Intrigue, or Buick Centuries for as low as $12,995, or 98 Grand Caravans, 99 Gallants, Bonneville's, and Deltas, just $13,999. With no payments till February 2000, so be smart. Get the best guys of the year now at Tom Hall's, where the deals are so good, they'll knock your socks off.
Tonight's the night I'm going to pop the question.
So did you get the ring yet?
No. I wanted to get her something that says, I'm really in this for the long haul. It's a train. What? I'm making a commitment here.
Trust your home to a full-service trained professional like Canadian Sons Plumbing and Heating Kaleida. They have the experience you want and the service you expect. And remember, it's hard to stop a train.
Welcome back to Lima Stadium. We've got one quarter in the books, and zip, no score on the Lone Zone scoreboard. And this is kind of what we expected maybe after one quarter of play. Both teams now have had the chance to feel each other out here, Mike, and maybe we will see some offense take over here in the second quarter.
Yeah, you know, the amazing thing is really Marion or St. John's has very good field position. Short field the whole first quarter and haven't been able to capitalize on it.
First down and 10 from the 49-yard line. Scott McCormick under center. Phil Gunder, 6'5", 250-pound senior, one of our players of the game this year. And they'll go with the option. Pitch back to Weber. Weber trying to get to the outside, and I tell you, the Marion local defense is just swarming down there. And Zach, who usually has some holes big enough to drive a couple of semi-trucks through, hasn't seen a whole lot of that here in the first half, Mike.
No, it looks like Marion local is very well prepared for tonight's game, but they're playing their position and lanes, running lanes very well. Even on the special teams, you know, you look at the punts and the kickoffs, and everybody's staying in their lane. They're not collapsing on the ball and playing position defense, and that's what they need to do, be the total defense tonight.
Zach gets a couple of yards. It's going to be a second down 8 from the 49-yard line. Out of the I formation, McCormick goes with a straight handoff to Weber, and he picks up another 4 or 5 yards.
Looks that was just a straight isolation play. Control of the line of scrimmage is maybe what they're going to be after. There's been a couple times where St. John's has come off the ball real well, and I think maybe that's what they're going to look to do right now. Just come off and let's see what happens running right up the middle with a little bit of power.
Third down, they need about 3 yards to pick up the first down. Marion local Flyer fans on their feet, trying to get their defense pumped up yet again. McCormick will go with the option keeper. Picks up the first down. Got a couple more good blocks out in front of him, and a nice play by the Jays, Scott McCormick. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
That's what opens up, Carl. Good up the middle running will open up that corner. McCormick's doing a great job with the ball handling as far as faking with the quarterback, pausing for a second before he moves down to pitch off the end. Great job. Pulled the end. Everybody cleared down. Had a big hole for him to run to. Back to you.
We're going to see that red Newmeyer hat before this first half comes to an end?
You might. Huh? No, probably not till second half.
First down 10 for the Jays. 29-yard line. 10 minutes and 35 seconds remaining here in this second quarter. Still no score. And this time they go with Miller, the fullback. And he grinds up a couple of more yards. Is this the kind of team, Coach, where they can... St. John's all season long has just had this ability to wear down teams as they get down to the third and fourth quarters. And you know Tim Goodwin pretty well, and of course Bill Goodwin. What kind of a Flyer team overall in terms of conditioning they got?
I think they're probably very well conditioned. I think they probably work very, very hard on that. You know, Tim has mentioned that the work ethic of these kids has allowed them to get this far right now, and so I don't think there's going to be an opportunity for them to wear them down.
They run the option again. They pick up the first down again, this time down to the 16-yard line. Another first down for Delphos St. John's.
Yep.
Looks like they're seeing something here, Coach.
Well, yeah, and to defend the option, you've got to be very disciplined on your defense. You have to have everybody assigned, taken care of. And with this St. John's offense, you know, they've got 3 pretty good guns, whether it's a fullback, the tailback, or the quarterback. It's hard to account for all of them. I look for them to start taking away the quarterback now a little bit because McCormick's had some good games and go from there.
First and 10 from the 16. They go with Miller again. Picks up a couple of more yards. It's like they're doing the bang, bang, bang up the middle. Keep the keeper by the quarterback. And a lot of times then you'll see Coach Schulte start looking at opening things up a little bit for some scores. So far here in the ball game, after one quarter of play for Delphos St. John's in rushing, Zach Weber kind of shut down so far, just 15 yards. They've been going to Miller a lot here in the first half. 29 yards in that first quarter. And right now it's going to be a 2nd down 7 from the 13-yard line. McCormick, keeper, he fumbles the football, and it's going to be covered by the Jays, though it looks like, down there around the 11-yard line, and jumping on top of it was Kyle Minning, the right tackle. Let's check that offensive line for St. John's. Minning, 204, Yeager, 196, Gunder, 250, Scott Miller, 216, and Andy Becker at 218.
I tell you, Scott McCormick took a lick, and he got up limping after that play, and he's trying to get his ankle loose, but that could have been a very big play.
So it sets up another 3rd down for St. John's. They need 6 to pick up the first. Ball at the 12-yard line. Let's see what they go with this time out of the shotgun formation. We got movement on the offensive line, it looked like. Looked like Andy Becker.
Yeah, Marion Local's doing a little jumping around, and when they do that, the St. John's offensive line is jumping. So again, they're.
Well, wait a minute here.
Well, they must have
They're going to say it's against the Flyers. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Davot, number 66, on the right side, Carl, penetrated the line of scrimmage. Didn't make contact, but he crossed the line of scrimmage, and they're saying that insinuated the rise of the left offensive tackle for Delphos.
Good call.
Okay, so it's going to be a 3rd down and 1 from the 7-yard line for Delphos St. John, still out of the I formation. McCormick looking over the defense. And he calls timeout. Timeout called by Scott McCormick with 7:54 remaining here in this first half. In the first quarter, the first downs, 4 for St. John's, 2 for Marion Local. Rushes overall, 12 for St. John's, picking up 61 yards. And rushing for Marion Local, coach, 4 carries for 5 yards in that first quarter. Passing yards, St. John's -4, 17 for Marion Local. Total offense, 17 plays, 57 yards for St. John's, 12 plays, 22 yards for Marion Local. So I'm not a great mathematician.
Defensive battle,
coach
isn't it?
like you, I'd say that would be a pretty good defensive first quarter. Time of possession, 8 minutes and 10 seconds for St. John's, only 3 minutes and 50 seconds for Marion Local, but the score is still 0-0.
And that's the most important stat, isn't it?
Yep. That's what they usually remember at the end of the football game.
You know, you talk about the similarities of these two teams. I know Dave Ott just recently just jumped off sides on that last one, but Dave is Marion Local's leader in sacks from his right defensive end position. He has a little over 11 sacks a game. And Rocky Klaus, also a right defensive end for St. John's, leads them with 14. So that position is the one that puts the heat on the quarterback.
3rd and 1. They pitch it to Weber. Weber trying to get to the outside. He cuts it back up, picks up the first down for Delphos St. John's, and the Jays will have it 1st and goal from about the 4-yard line.
Just ran the toss, had a lot of room to run, ran for the first down marker and picked up a little extra.
I'd like to thank our good friends at Van Dyne Karate, 434 North Main in Delphos, your local Ottawa oil shell stations throughout Northwest Ohio, and also Jim Dickman, your Allstate insurance agent, Elida Road east of Delphos, some of our great sponsors making it possible we are here at Lima Stadium on a sold-out night. Division 6. 1st down and goal to go from the 4-yard line. The pitch, Zach Weber cuts it back up the middle, gets down to about the 2. And that's going to be about it.
Getting their toss out of the power I formation that time to the strong halfback side. Just running people up in there, power football, and seeing what they can get.
A lot of fans over there, right? Scott Stiles on the other side with the St. John's fans, and there's fans everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, they're all over the place. Everybody's wanting to know, where's Carl at? He's on the bottom layer tonight. They all have their binoculars out.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. 2nd down, goal to go from the 2. McCormick barking out the signals, goes with the toss again to Weber, and he is going to be short by about a half yard, it looks like, from here, Coach. No indication by the officials, so they're going to mark it almost right at the goal line. And so it's going to be a 3rd down and goal from...
It's by about a yard, half yard.
Marion local fans on their feet again. They've been on their feet most of the game, a lot of them, trying to pump up their defense. St. John's fans now on their feet. They want to see some points. It's been a long time since the Jays haven't scored after this long in a football game. 3rd down and goal to go from the 1. They pitch it to Weber. Weber cuts it up. Touchdown, Jays. The touchdown will come at the 6:04 mark of our second quarter. St. John's goes on top 6-zip. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Well, I tell you what, great lead block by the fullback and by Scotty McCormick. Got the surge by the Zahner in the end zone. Zahner knocks on the end zone. 6-zip Jays. Good momentum grasp here in the first half. See if Marion Local can rebound off of this and get something going on their own.
Scott cold down there, or what's the deal?
I'm freezing.
Bring a coat next time. And so let's see what St. John's going to do here. They're going to kick the extra point. Mike Bittler, 70 of 79 coming into the ball game on extra points, and make it 71 of 80 as he knocks that one through. And the St. John Blue Jays go on top. Now 7-0, and another nice drive by St. John's.
It was a nice drive, short field again. Marion Local's got to get a little bit better field position to be able to work with. A couple nice option plays by Scott McCormick got him into position, but then, it got awful tough for him once they got inside the red zone there. So, I think Marion certainly didn't want to give up the touchdown, but they got to feel a little good about how hard they had to make St. John's work. A little different than what they faced the last few weeks.
Again, coming up at the half, we'll be talking to the head football coach for the St. Henry Redskins, Tim Beckman. Tim's team winning last night. A very good ball game over Liberty Center. Final score there, 35-28, which means now that St. Henry will be going to yet another state championship football game.
They face Amanda Clear Creek, I believe, at 11 o'clock on Friday morning.
We'll be there, won't we?
And that's I can.
We're going to be there?
A couple of us will be, Carl.
I think I'll be sick that day. St. John's ready to kick off. Mart's ready to put his foot into it, back deep. For Marion Local, Travis Unrast. Try to get him the football. P.J. Walters as well down there. And Unrast is going to pick it up around the 6-yard line, take it straight up the field, and go down at about the 24. So that means that Kanapke and crew will start off with not real good field position yet again.
No, they're going to have to get a little bit going here to, again, maybe... if they don't get it in, at least force a long field for St. John's to try to end the half on.
St. Henry in that game next week will be looking for their 5th state title. One of 4 teams that have 4 state championships. First down and 10 from the 25-yard line. Kanapke goes with the draw play, and Unrast not going to get a whole bunch, maybe a yard or so, and that's going to be about it.
The sprint draw play off their play action, or their pass action, is a play that they didn't start the season with. It came in later in the year and really has allowed Unrast to have a lot of yardage. Certainly his rushing, he's got averages almost 7 yards a carry and has over 1,300 yards for the season.
Remember, the winner of this one going to take on Norwalk, St. Paul, or Danville next week at 11 o'clock at Canton. Quarterback looking to throw. Kanapke, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Chuck Hain for Delphos St. John's. Haynes with a big turnover for the Blue Jays, giving them great field position. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
The old tip drill, Carl, coming in and playing for the Blue Jays. That's one thing we talked about in the pregame show. Marion Local has to play within themselves and not make any mistakes. Delphos doesn't have far to go now for this drive here for another score. The Marion Local Flyers got to come up with a big play here, prevent them from getting another score, because you can't come back from a 2-score deficit against these guys. It's awful tough with this defense. Back to you.
Last time after the turnover, they were able to shut down St. John's. See what happens here.
That's only Chuck's 2nd interception of the season. 1st and 10 for the 27 for St. John's. They go with the option McCormick. He's got another big hole. We got a flag. McCormick continues on, and he's close to the goal line, but there is a flag on the ground around the 27-yard line. Let's see who that's going to go against.
Probably where that's at is probably a hold. They'll probably be bringing it back.
And that is what is going to be called, and so they will bring that one back, and so take away the big chunky yardage there gained by Scott McCormick.
He's running that option very, very well tonight. He gets downhill quick after the fullback fake, attacks the inside, and then he runs. You're going to go hash mark numbers and sideline, and that's what he's doing.
St. John's state champions 2 years in a row. State semifinalist 2 years. Of course, 94 this year. Looking for their third straight state championship football game next week at Canton. First down and 20 now for Delphos St. John's from the 37-yard line. See what McCormick does this time out of the I formation. Keep it, runs the same play. Big hole this time with no hold. Picks up the first down. Yes, he does. At least he's going to be right at the stick. Teddy went right back to what they ran before the penalty, Coach.
What St. John's is doing is they're no tight end. They've got double split ends with a slot, wide slot. That's stretching the Marion local defense, and they're running it into the one receiver side and the two receiver side, and he's got a lot of room to run. Nobody assigned to the quarterback.
Yeah, just came up short, about a half a yard, so it's going to be a second down now for Delphos St. John's. See what McCormick does this time. This time he'll look to throw, looking down the right side, and he'll throw it, and it's going to be incomplete. Intended receiver looked like Becker down there, and it was Aaron Becker, the junior, who's got 12 catches this year for 184 yards and 3 touchdowns. So now it's going to be a third down and 1 for the Jays. Already up 7-zip on the Lone Zone scoreboard with 4 minutes and 7 seconds remaining here in this first half. McCormick, option, pitch back to Weber. Weber trying to get to the outside. He does. He's at the 10, the 5, touchdown, Delphos St. John's. The Jays will score at the 3:59 mark of our second quarter. They now go up 13-zip. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
I want to go back to 2 plays before McCormick busts that long run. Zach Weber has been great pitch relationship the whole time. He's doing a great job staying relationship. Matter of fact, he said something to McCormick. He said, look, I'm open on the pitch after you see contact. Well, when you got a running quarterback, I can relate to this. You try to get all you can. You forget about that pitch man. That time he did. He hit Weber right in stride. Great pitch and great run. Zach Weber shows his speed, cuts it to the corner, gets to the pylon. 6 more points for the Jays. Not what Marion local wanted. Back to you.
Extra point. And this one is up, and he splits it again. Delphos St. John's now goes up 14-zip on the Lone Zone scoreboard. And again, Coach, a touchdown there coming off a turnover.
Yeah, and Weber gets out there with his quickness and speed. The defensive back really came off of the receiver well, was in position, came up to make the play, but allowed him to get to the outside. Didn't keep his outside arm and leg free, so consequently his speed and quickness allowed him to get to the corner of the end zone, like Scott mentioned.
I'd like to thank the Carriage Inn at 1201 East 5th Street in Delphos, one of our sponsors here on Fox. Also brought us up some delicious wings and wraps and such again tonight.
How do you suppose Scott heard Zach talking to
He's amazing. Scott is just amazing, the things he picks up. He's on the track too, to boot. Also, A&J Woodworking, expert craftsmen of fine cabinetry and certified Corian fabricators. Call A&J Woodworking 695-5655. The bosses of cameraman Ronnie Coons. Coons retired and still making big bucks just doing that. Well, here we go. Delphos St. John's going to kick off again. Doug Martz going to be kicking down to Unrast and Walters. It's a low kick, going to be picked up around the 30-yard line, return to the 33 and about the 34-yard line. And that's going to be about it. Returning the football that time was number 34, Scott Schulze.
I think, again, we talked about Marion local playing within their capabilities and what they can do, and I don't think they want to come out here now and do something that's going to get them into trouble. I think they still stay with their basic offense and try to get something established.
Well, the St. John defense has only given up 5 points per ball game this year, and they are yet to score here. The Marion local Flyers hand off right tackle. That time, some big yardage for Travis Unrast.
picked up 9 yards, and I'll tell you, St. John's had a lot of people up in the line of scrimmage. They were playing run all the way, and they were able to still execute the play very well.
Remember, when this game is over, Mike and I, along with Scott Stiles, will go down the field and talk to our player of the game, sponsored by our good friends at the Commercial Bank. Second down, 3 for Marion Local. Kanapke wants to throw, and he is going to fumble the football. St. John's picks it up. Another big turnover by the Marion Local Flyers, and covering it for the Blue Jays was Kyle Jackson, the 6'1", 250-pound senior. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Boy, great pressure by that left side. Kyle Jackson did the old swim move, went right through the offensive guard, got right to the quarterback, knocked the ball loose, and recovered it all in one motion. Great job by Kyle Jackson. I'll tell you what, if they score here, you can put them away, because there's no way the Jays will let this get away with a 3-score lead. Back to you.
Prediction by Scott Stiles does not reflect the opinion of Mike Richards or Carl Metzger. Kyle Jackson had a big week last week. He had a touchdown for Delphos St. John's. First and 10 for the Jays. McCormick wants to throw. Looking down look at the time he has, and he finally busted out. Picks up some good yardage, about 8 or 9 yards. Zach Weber, so far in this ball game, with 13 carries, and he has 50 yards after that last score by Weber. Time running out here in this first half, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. The Jays up 14-zip.
Plenty of time on that pass. Is in a shotgun formation, and good protection from the line. They're not getting the pressure on him that they did early in the game.
Ball at the 18-yard line. Pitch back to Weber. Weber cuts it up the middle, goes down inside the 15-yard line, and it's going to be another first down for Delphos St. John's as they continue to roll here, Mike.
Yeah, they've got things going. They like to be, like I said, we're very opportunistic. You know, they had 40 turnovers going into tonight's takeaways going into tonight's game, and add 3 more to it at this point.
I'd like to thank Community First Savings and Loans, service that's first, and the Cupie, home of the Mighty Nice Hamburgers. A couple more sponsors making it possible we're here tonight. And it's the option pitch again. Weber trying to cut it. Is he going to be able to? No, he's picked up, thrown down around the 15-yard line. Nice tackle there by Corey Albers.
Yeah, did a nice job coming up that time. He broke down well. He wasn't out of control. Kept the leverage on Zach Weber and didn't allow him to get that corner turn.
And so that's going to set up a second down. No gain that time by Weber and the Blue Jays.
They're mixing it up a little bit in their defense of the option. Roy, that's the last couple times they've allowed him to get the pitch to Weber. Really unscathed as far as that goes, and then they're just trying to string it out.
A minute 32 remaining. McCormick pitches it back to Weber on the left side. Can he do it this time? Cuts it back and goes down inside the 10-yard line. Zach Weber doing a lot of that on his own over there.
Yeah, I've always said a mark of a good back is how much you get when you're hit or when the first person lays a hand on you. And both of these teams have 2 good backs that do this. Zach Weber certainly for St. John's, and Travis Unrast for the Marion Local Flyers.
Delphos St. John's going to call a timeout, and the timeout comes with a 1:04 mark here of the second quarter. Let's go down and see what's going on with Scott Stiles.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think what Coach Schulte's trying to do is try to get some kind of score where there's hardly any time left on the clock. That way Marion Local has no time left to get something going on the backside. But that time, Zach Weber, like you said, Coach, did an excellent job. He had to actually stop for the pitch. The pitch was behind him. He did a good job. The first thing to do is get the pitch. Then he took off and tried to outsprint him for the corner of the end zone. He does a good job with, he's not very big, but he has a great job doing forward lean. And he hardly gets any negative yardage at all. And that's a good sign for a good running back. Back to you.
Mike, go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was just going to say, Scott's exactly right. You know, he's got that forward lean, so his pads are in front of his legs, and that makes it awful hard to bring down.
I'd like to remind you that coming up next Friday, the state finals, Division 5 will be at Canton. That's with St. Henry. Division 3 at Massillon, and Division 2 will be at Canton. On Saturday, December the 4th, the state finals, Division 6 at Canton, the winner of this one. Division 4 will be at Massillon, and Division 1 will be at Canton. I'm looking forward to next Friday and Saturday. Third down and 4 situation from the 7-yard line. Delphos St. John's with 1:04 remaining here in this first half. Becker goes in motion out of the I. They pitch to Weber. Everybody's blocking for him, and he gets down to around the 5. And so now they are faced with a 4th down with 52 seconds remaining, first half. And they still need a couple of yards here, Coach, to pick up the first. Kick a field goal here, you go for it.
That's a good question. I think maybe they want to let the clock run down. They're going to take a timeout, and then they're going to talk about it and see what they want to do. I think they're going to take the 3 points.
You think so? Well,
maybe not.
Looks like they're going for it. They might be trying to draw him off sides, too. A 4th and 1. McCormick will hand the foot. No, he keeps it on the option, and he gets the first down. No messing around there, Coach. Just get to the line of scrimmage and go for it.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of time for a long count call.
Nope. And so now it is first down for the Jays. First down and goal to go. Ball resting at the 3-yard line. And they spike the ball to stop the clock. And they will stop the clock with 14 seconds remaining here in this second quarter.
Yeah.
You seem bewildered, Coach.
Well, just a little bit. I'm not sure what the timeout situation is for St. John's. That's.
Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
They've got one left.
Scott, you down there, Scott?
Yeah, I'm down here. Hey, girls. Hey, what do you think? We get a score here? We're going to state?
Oh, yeah.
How do you think of Carl Metzger? That's what I thought.
He's been setting him up again. I should have went down to him that time. Second down, goal to go from the 3-yard line. Pitch back to Weber. Weber trying to cut it. He's to the outside, and he'll go down right where he started, around the 3-yard line. Good defense by the Flyers. Trying to keep him out of the end zone.
Very good defense. Kept him in bounds. They're going to have to burn their last time out with 3 seconds to go. They were in an unbalanced line that time with the slot.
Well, here you go, Coach. 3 seconds to go. You need a couple of yards. Well, you already saw what they're going to do here.
Yeah, they got to get some points out of this to make it a 3-score game.
Well, Bittler's got 2 field goals this year from 22 and from 26. This one is spotted at the
this will be about 20.
It's a 20-yarder. 20-yarder, so again, he's had a 22 and a 26, and Bittler's been superb from the kicking extra points this year. We'll see how he does on this one. Marion Local still on the sidelines talking to their defensive coordinator, it looks like. And now they'll come back out on the field and see what they can do with this field goal attempt by Delphos St. John's. With just 3 seconds remaining here in this second quarter.
He's kicking from the right hash, so he's going to have a little bit of an angle. I don't know if that'll give him much of a problem or not. It's harder from this side than the other, I believe, for a sidewind.
Jeff Fisher with a hold. The kick by Bittler is up, and it is good. Nice job by Mike Bittler to make the score now 17-0 here at the half. We have played 2 quarters of action here from Lima Stadium. Our score, Delphos St. John's 17, Marion Local nothing. Stay with us. Tim Beckman, the head football coach for the St. Henry Redskins, will be with me on the halftime show.
And I'm Nathan Dyer. Our dads are 2 of the smartest attorneys that I've got. I did at least 1 rehearsal. Our dads are 2 of the smartest Say, Pop! Our fathers are really nice guys, and they will fight hard for you. So if you've been injured, call our dad's law firm today.
Hi, folks. Bob Aubin here, and November is Truck Month at Mike Pruitt Superstore. Buy or lease any 99 or 2000 F-150 in stock and receive $300 in genuine Ford accessories free. That's right, $300 to use towards your purchase of any genuine Ford accessories. Plus, now through December 25th, with your purchase of any pre-owned vehicle in stock, receive $500 in Christmas cash. I'm sure you know someone you can spend it on.
Hey.
need oil to run, right? You have to change your oil for optimum performance, so why not have it done at Quick Change Oil and Lube? They'll not only change your oil with top-quality Castrol products, but they'll also clean your windshield, vacuum your floor, check all your fluid levels, and check your tire pressure, too. Best of all, no appointment is necessary. Quick Change Oil and Lube with 2 locations, North Perry Street in Ottawa and Westwood Drive in Van Wert. Your car will thank you for it.
Welcome back. We're at halftime. The Delphos St. John Blue Jays on top of the Marion local Flyers, 17-zip. And in the booth with us right now for our halftime show, which is sponsored by our good friends at Van Dyne Crotty of Delphos. Uniforms that work, is the head football coach of the St. Henry Redskins, Tim Beckman. Tim, how you doing?
Just fine.
Good to see you again.
You too.
Hey, congratulations. Big win last night over Liberty Center. Final score of that game for you fans that missed it again was 35-28. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it, Tim?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was an outstanding football game, and it was a situation where our football team didn't quit, and we played from behind for majority of the football game, and things just went so well for us at the end, and we were fortunate enough to come out on top.
And you guys get another victory here. And you know, we're going to talk about what's coming up next week for you. But as you look on the field here now, you got a couple more MAC schools out there, Delphos St. John's and Marion Local. You got a chance to play both of those schools this year. What do you think about the game so far?
Well, you know, this is a great football game, and the one thing that's very difficult to coach is speed, and Delphos just has outstanding speed, and I think that's played a big factor in this first half. But you know, Marion, that was big to keep them out of the end zone there at halftime, and you know, if they can come out and establish themselves, but Delphos right now has definitely got the upper hand.
You've played Marion Local this year. When you guys took on Marion Local, and a little bit different from Delphos St. John's, this is a very close game for St. John's, 24-7, 17-7 at one point. Then they scored that touchdown at the end. What do you remember? Because you got Tim Goodwin down there, first-year coach coming out. Marion Local knocks off for Sales to start the season. They continue to roll. You guys play them. It's 26-23 football game. You got to be thinking, hey, these Flyers are for real.
Tim's done a fantastic job, and he's got those kids believing in themselves. And as I said, they've had a great season, and they've played outstanding football in the playoffs here. And as I said, this first half here, it's just been a real challenge for them, and field position has really been a factor. And, you know, I don't know if they got over midfield, which I don't think they did. And that's in a game like this, in a game against Delphos St. John's, field position plays such a big part of the football game. And Marion's just got to come out and establish themselves this second half.
Okay, and this is old hat for you guys as I look through the program for you again. In terms of being in the state tournament, state champions 4 times, state semifinalists 7 times, state runners-up 1 time, and I know it doesn't get too old for guys like you, but you guys are going to be taking on now Amanda Clear Creek. Now, they are, 13-1 on the season now. What do you know about them? What can you tell us about them?
Well, I'll tell you, we traded film today and watched film all afternoon, and they are an outstanding football team. Very similar in nature in what we've seen last night in Liberty Center. They love to run the football, but the thing that they're bigger than Liberty Center, bigger backs, and they have a real nice quarterback. But the thing that they've got going for them right now is I think they lost their first game of the year and just great momentum, and they really put a lot of points on the board. And last night they were behind at halftime, came back second half and went ahead. And it's going to be a real challenge for us. We know that, but you know, as I said last night, and I told our kids after the ball game, it doesn't matter right now. We'll put them up against anybody, and we're really feeling good about ourselves.
And you got to be proud of your son, Todd.
Todd just had a fantastic ball game last night. The poise that he showed all year has just been unbelievable. And you look back at last night in the situation that we were in, and he was in one word, he was really hot last night. He was on, and it was a great situation. It's just to sit back and watch him and make some great reads and do some things that we talked about all year. It's probably the most comfortable that he's felt all year behind center, and you could just sense it as the game went on. Him and the receivers really got themselves on the same page, and I said some great reads and some great audibles and put us in a great situation to be able to win that game at the end.
That's good. He's hitting like this time of the year to be able to do that too.
He's really progressed. There's no doubt about that. And I said that's the one thing we've seen from him and our whole football team. They progressed throughout the playoffs and throughout the season. And as I said, we're hitting on all cylinders right now.
Okay, well, congratulations. The big victory last night. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Tim Beckman, the head football coach for the St. Henry Redskins here on Fox. Let's take this 30-second timeout. We'll be back with more right after this.
Thursday.
Here is your $500,000 question.
They've just won $500,000.
Welcome back. We've got a few minutes left here in the halftime ceremony. St. John's on top 17-0 on the Lone Zone scoreboard. And again, a couple of touchdowns for the St. John Blue Jays in that second quarter. Opened things up a little bit after a couple of key turnovers by the Marion local Flyers. And that is where we stand right now with a field goal by Mike Bittler to end things in that second quarter. And that's where we're at, 17-0 on the Lone Zone scoreboard. Halftime show has been brought to you by our good friends at Van Dyne Crotty of Delphos, the uniforms that work. We've got third quarter action coming up next on Fox.
Oh, my.
WOHL, Limas
Miles and head coach Todd Schulte.
I'm with Coach Schulte. Coach, you won the first half war. It was a heck of a first half, very physical.
Yeah, very physical game. That's what we expected. You know, we've seen this type of competition all year in the league, and nothing different. And I think it's the most physical game I've seen this year.
One thing I noticed, your defense is basically stopping their run-dominated offense. You're forcing the pass. You've had a couple picks. Expect the same. It seems like they're going to have to throw the ball second half to get anything going.
Yeah, and you know, our defense is doing a great job. That's what they've done for us all year. They set us up, and we play on a short field, and that's great when you can play on a short field all night. So that's the way it's been going all year. We lean on our defense, and when they give us an opportunity to score, we take advantage of it.
One thing I was impressed with, they seemed to shut down your offense early in the game, but you guys stayed composed.
Yeah, we just give it a little time, and we make some adjustments, and football's a game of adjustments, and we've made some good adjustments, and we feel pretty confident with what we're doing right now.
All right, guys, he's one half away from going to the state finals his first year. Back to you.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate that. With Todd Schulte, the head football coach for Delphos St. John's, gives us time as well to look at some of the first half numbers with Mike Richards.
Yeah, first half, definitely, you look at time of possession, 18 minutes and 36 seconds for the Delphos St. John's Blue Jays as opposed to 5 minutes and 24 seconds for the Marion local Flyers. It's hard to get anything established offensively, and it certainly has shown that way. One of the keys to the game early was turnovers, and Marion locals had 3 of them. 2 of them have led to scores, 10 points. In other areas, the special teams, and of course, they're 2 for 2 on PATs plus a 20-yard field goal. So you look at those things, and that's what we got as a game. As far as total yardage right now, you got 160 total yards for the St. John's Blue Jays as opposed to 14 for the Marion local Flyers.
Scott Stiles down there looking for Coach Tim Goodwin of the Marion local Flyers. Going to try to get a couple of words out of him before we start quarter number 3. Scott Stiles.
I'll tell you what, first half was a war. A very physical game, and I thought realistically, if not for turnovers, your defense playing a heck of a football game.
Yeah, they're playing well. We got to get something going offensively.
Do you feel like you have to throw the ball to move the ball, or can you establish something against the run?
We're going to try.
All right, good luck second half.
Thank you, Scott. And down to a couple of seconds here before we get quarter number 3 underway. Tim Goodwin is the son of Bill Goodwin, the legendary coach for the Allen East Mustangs, Hall of Fame coach, and of course our partner here at Fox. And the winner of this game going to go down up to Canton for the state championship game. That could be an interesting contest between either Marion local or St. John's against Norwalk, St. Paul, or Danville. Now, we talked to Tim Beckman at the half. His team is going to be taking on Amanda Clear Creek. So, Coach, we could have a couple of state champions from the MAC.
Yeah, we know definitely there's going to be 2 MAC representatives in Canton. Both of those games are going to be played at the Canton site, one on Friday morning, one on Saturday, one on Friday morning, one on Saturday morning. And
we're hoping to be there for both.
Yeah.
Here at Fox. High school basketball gets underway on Friday, December the 10th, as the Lincoln View Lancers will be at Perry to take on the Commodores. Bob Arnzen and I back together again for year number 7, we believe. And then on Saturday night, game yet to be decided because we are going to do Elida Delphos St. John's, and that game has been rescheduled, obviously, for February the 19th. So high school basketball will kick off on Friday, December the 10th here on Fox. And we've got a long schedule, big schedule again to bring you this season. Like to have gotten a week off,
Well, you work too hard sometimes, Carl.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Stop in and check out a great lineup of lane action recliners at Westridge Furniture with 3 locations in Delphos. Be a great Christmas present. Good friends at Westridge's. one of our great sponsors here on Fox. Ready to go. The Blue Jays ready to kick off. Marks gets the foot into it, and it's going to bounce all the way down to the 15-yard line, returned across the 20 to the 25, and finally across the 30, and they're going to set up shop around the 33-yard line. Let's see what this offense can do for Marion Local, and kind of surprised at this point, Coach, that they really haven't been able to get things going offensively. Travis Unrast with just 9 yards rushing in that first half. Kanapke is quarterback on those options with minus yardage.
Yeah, Unrast has only carried the ball 4 times. And again, with 5 minutes on possession, you don't have much time to get something going.
Hand off, and they do pick up about 4 yards, 3 yards on the first carry from scrimmage to start off quarter number 3. Place is packed here at Lima Stadium. 6,000, the capacity of the seating bleachers here at Lima Stadium, and it is filled. Total yards of offense in that first half for St. John's was 160, and just 14 for Marion Local. Out of the I formation, Kanapke wants to throw, rolls right, looks left, and that one is almost picked off. I tell you, if Jeff Fisher could have caught that one, he'd have had himself 6 points.
Yeah, there was all he had to do was hang on, and he was gone.
Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Boy, Jeff Fisher had a beat on that one. He just sat back and was waiting for the screen to develop. And if it wasn't for the guy out here for the screen, the pass was thrown to for the screen, he actually grabbed Fisher around the waist and held him up. Fisher would have been gone. Back to you.
Just underway here in this third quarter, 17-0. Delphos St. John's on top of the Marion Local Flyers. Marion Local trying to get something established here offensively here in this third quarter. Again, the quarterback is Mitch Kanapke, and he wants to throw, and he looks downfield, long ball, and all kinds of contact down there with Hain. Nothing called. It's just going to go as an incomplete pass.
Yeah, they've had, a couple people have been very quiet so far. The 2 leading receivers for the Marion Local Flyers, DJ Walters and also Adam Gresham.
In every game this year, double digits for Marion Local. The only time they didn't score in double digits was against St. John's, which they lost 24-7. Now the punt by Unrast. All the way down to the 27-yard line, taken there by Fisher. Fisher across the 35 to almost the 40, and that is where St. John's will set up their offense, 1st and 10.
That may be St. John's worst field position they've had to start at this year, other than the opening kickoff.
Look at the number of fans. It just continues to amaze me, the number of fans who are lined up behind the fences here at Lima Stadium.
Yeah, there's probably a couple hundred that aren't even in the stadium watching.
Yeah. $7 to get in. They're getting a free show. We predicted it, though. Sold out Lima Stadium. Took until everybody got here for that to happen, but St. John's on the offense now. The pitch McCormick to Zach Weber. Weber cuts it upfield, continues to go, trying to get to the outside, and then goes down around the 44-yard line, but another nice run for Zach Weber. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
A little smart aleck finally actually came out half and goes, bet you're not calling me clunker tonight. Hey, I got a tally here for attendance.
Huh? You do?
Yeah. The officials said they finally closed the gates because they started sitting on this wall up here and they didn't want the wall falling down, so they finally closed both gates. But they estimate between 8,000 and 9,000 with standing room people here at the game tonight.
Wow.
Did you know, Scott, that it didn't fill up till everybody got here?
I said it wasn't sold out till everybody got here. That's Miller, running back, fullback for the Jays, picks up about 5 yards. Don't be acting like Stiles now. I got enough putting up with him. I got to put up with you, too. 10 minutes and 20 seconds remaining here in this third quarter. St. John's taking some time off the clock, already up 17-0.
Yeah, they're going to be content to use as much of the clock they can, and can again continue to give Marion Local very little time with their hands on the ball.
Pitch back to Weber. right up the middle of the field, and he picks up about 4 or 5 yards, and he's going to be close to another first down. Looks like he's about a yard short. This offensive line has been doing it all season long for St. John's. Phil Gunder, the center, the guards, Scott Miller and Nick Yeager, Kyle Minning and Andy Becker, the tackles. And you know, all those guys are seniors except for Andy Becker, so Jay's going to have to rebuild that line for next year. 3rd down and 1. McCormick with Phil Gunder brings them to the line. This time they'll go with the option. This is what's been working all night long, and he picks up another first down.
He does a nice job of riding that fullback in the line of scrimmage, and everybody collapses on him, and he pretty much has that alley to run.
Defense for Marion led by Mitch Schmackers, the linebacker, 169 tackles. Toby with 32, Gear with 25, Evers with 17, and Oddie with 74. The backers, Winner 77, Toby 81, 97 tackles for Clune. 1st and 10 for the 31 pass play. Look at the time he has again. Finally, he gets out of the pocket, rolling around for his dear life, throws short. Becker catches it at the 20, right in front of Scott Stiles.
Becker did a good job, Carl. He does what every receiver is taught to do. When you see your quarterback scrambling, you come back to the football. Becker that time did an absolute great job of going downfield, breaking it off, and coming back to the quarterback. You work your way back to the quarterback, giving him an option to throw to. That time he did. First down, Blue Jays are on another long drive. Back to you.
About time for you to break out that red Newmeyer hat, isn't it? Ronnie Coons, your cameraman, standing right beside you.
I don't want to get shot.
I think you got to put it on. I think it's kind of cute.
Hey, Mike, did I tell you the joke about the horse and the little boy?
1st and 10 from the 19-yard line. Out of the I formation for Delphos St. John's. Man will go in motion. That's Ryan Morse. Handoff. And all the way down to the 10-yard line, the Jays will go, short of the first down.
Yep, just a simple dive to the fullback, and Miller did a nice job carrying that ball and broke a few tackles.
Miller's done a nice job in this football game. You know, after the first quarter play, he had been the leading ball carrier for St. John's with 29 yards and ended up the first half with a total of 37 yards. Zach Weber with 65 yards on 18 carries. McCormick with 58 yards on 8 carries. 2nd and 3 from the 12. And the Marion local defense read that one, and nothing going on for St. John's this time. Jordan Bowers, the ball carrier for Delphos St. John's. We'll see him come in a lot. 73 carries this year for over 600 yards and 10 touchdowns. Loses 1 yard, so it sets up a 3rd down. They're going to need 3 to pick up the first down. Lone zone scoreboard shows 17-0 Jays. Out of the I formation, McCormick goes with a pitch. This is Zach Weber, and he gets the touchdown for Delphos St. John's. Touchdown will come at the 7-minute mark of our 3rd quarter of play, and Scott Stiles, he made that one look easy.
Well, the problem is this, Carl. You got McCormick who leads. He's 6'2", 220. Then you got the fullback who's 6'2", 205. And he hides behind those guys. Zach's 5'7", maybe 150, and he hides, and then the defense loses him. They lost sight of him. That time they went inside thinking he'd cut back inside like he has been, and he pops it to the outside. You can't find him. That's why they're so successful in that toss sweep. Back to you.
Well, things getting a little out of hand right now for Marion Local. It's 23-0 our score, and the extra point by Bittler is good as well. So now 24-0, Mike. And you know, I hate to agree with Scott Stiles, which I don't do very often, but spotting St. John's 24 points at this point in the football game, it's going to be very difficult for Marion Local to come back.
Yeah, they're in a position right now where they have to, you know, it'd have to be a complete shutdown on St. John's part.
And like I said before, they've only given up an average of 5 points per ball game this year against their opponents. Some of the scores this year for St. John's, they had 41-zip win over Warren JFK, 69-0 against Tenora, 59-0 against Perry, 40-zip New Bremen, 42-zip Fort Recovery, 24-zip Parkway, 48-7 to St. Henry, 24-7 over Marion Local, 59-16 over Minster, 35-14 against Coldwater. Then in the playoffs, 76-zip against Minster, 49-8 against Springfield, and 68-15 against Ansonia. And if you see the 16s and the 14s and the 15s, that's usually because the second team or third team defense is in there for St. John's. So it's going to be very difficult at this point. 24-zip on the Lone Zone scoreboard. Here we go. Marks gets the foot into it. Drives them all the way back to the 5-yard line, across the 10, the 20, and that's it. Field position not there again for Marion Local. I'd like to thank some more of our sponsors making it possible that we were able to bring you this game here on Fox tonight. Morris Chiropractic Clinic. Make a U-turn to health. Visit Doctors Thomas and Roger Morris Chiropractic Clinic in Delphos. Good old Tom and Roger. And also to United Equity Incorporated in Delphos, Spencerville, and Kossuth, your locally owned farmer cooperative. 1st and 10, 22-yard line. Let's see what the Flyers do here. They hand the football off, pick up maybe a yard or so, and that's going to be about it. And definitely it's not going to happen with the running game here for Marion Local to get them back into it. So they, as we talked before, Coach, it kind of takes you out of your game plan where you almost have to start throwing the football just to get back into it. And that's not really what has gotten Marion Local here to this point.
No, what's gotten them here has been their balance. And then, you know, they're going to have to, like you said, become almost one-dimensional now to get back into it. And Mitch Kanapke's confidence may be a little damaged with 2 interceptions.
Back to pass, looking downfield, and he throws it up for grabs. And Fisher's down there, and also Hershey's down there, and it falls incomplete. So it's going to set up a 3rd down. You know, Kanapke, taking nothing away from him, he's 92 of 194 this year for over 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Got a lot of his yardage also via the rush, 120 carries for 520 yards. Leading receiver, Grisham, number 85, with 36 catches for 500 yards, but we really haven't called his number out much here tonight.
Walters had 39 catches
for 898 yards out of the flanker position. Grisham, the tight end. Pass play now, looking downfield. There's a short one, and it's going to be caught, but the Jays are there to swarm all around, but he gets free. Going down that right sideline, it might be B.J. Walters if he can run past everybody, and he does. Look at the speed as he kicked that one in. Looked like he was going to be brought down, but B.J. Walters goes all the way for a 78-yard touchdown against Delphos St. John's. Let's go to Scott Stiles.
B.J. Walters did that all on his own, Mike. Something you mentioned earlier. A good back gets a lot of yards after he's been hit. He was hit 3 times, but Delphos thought if he just hit him, he's going to fall down. Marion Local's not going to give up.
No, they're not.
78 yards, zoom, right down the sideline he went. Back to you.
B.J. Walters, all Northwest District receiver, and very nice play on his part.
And you called his name out right before they ran that play. We had slighted him.
Yeah.
Didn't like that. So a touchdown for Marion Local comes at the 5:54 mark of our 3rd quarter, makes it 24-6. And they will go for 2. Mitch Kanapke back to throw. Throws it up for grabs again, and it is going to be caught in the corner of the end zone again by B.J. Walters. So 2 more points now makes it 24-8. He had the sky for that one, Mike.
Yeah, nice catch. Really good coverage on him. Just made a great play on it.
So Delphos St. John's going to get the football back. And first time in a long time their first-team offense, has given up a touchdown.
Yeah, you know, Marion Local, as far as the passes they've been throwing, have been going deep, and finally came short underneath one time, and he was able to break some tackles and go. I tell you, he's got some great speed.
As I mentioned, St. John's had given up 8 points to Springfield Catholic and 15 last week to Ansonia, and they've given up 8 now here to Marion Local. So the blue and gold going to get the football back.
I think the last time they met, what was the score, 24-7?
Yes, sir. And it was 17-7 going down to the final couple minutes of the fourth quarter, and St. John's added a late touchdown to make it 24-7. Back deep at the 5-yard line, bringing it across the 15, 20, continuing on forward. St. John's will set up shop at around the 26-yard line, it looks like, and see if they can answer the touchdown by Marion Local as their fans getting back into it now, only down by 16 points.
You know, that has to do a lot for Knapke's confidence. He hit 2 passes there, once for the touchdown, then for the 2-point conversion. And, you know, he was putting the ball on the money. He was a little high on one of the interceptions, got a tip drill type of thing, but see what happens here defensively.
There's the toss to Weber, and he tries to go the other way. And the defense there, and Zach continues to bowl his way forward. And, you know, Zach at 5'7", 145. He's trying to hammer.
He didn't back off that contact, did he?
So that's going to set up a second down. Zach able to pick up about 4 yards or so. So it's called second down and 6 from the 30-yard line.
Not a whole lot at the point of attack caused him to bounce on the cutback or come back on the cutback. And Marion Local strung it out very well.
Approaching the 5-minute mark, and it's the option again by McCormick, and this time he's going to be brought down. Nice defense. In there was number 62 for the Marion Local Flyers. And that's one of the first times we've seen McCormick get stopped cold on that option. That was Scott Creamer in there on the defense. And that even fires up the Marion Local fans even more. They know it's now a third down. If they can hold the Jays here, they'll...
There's no doubt that was the best way they've defensed the option so far tonight. A little confusion there on St. John's part, it looks like.
McCormick out of the shotgun this time. Back to pass. Looking downfield, has a receiver in Odenweller, and Odenweller has to become the defensive back on that one as it's thrown a little bit too far in front of him. And so the Marion Local Flyers have held, and they're going to get the football back. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
A lot of times you see this in a football game. After a big score, it's teams lift the other side of the ball. Your defense. That time the defense came out, played smack mouth defense, 3 and out for their Marion Local Flyers. Now they get the ball back with 4:23 left, and their chance to score 8 in the third quarter. Back to you.
So Marks ready to punt. Gets it off. It's a nice punt. Taken at the 31-yard line, and nice punt coverage by the Jays that time. And who was down there first? Looked like Hershey. Craig Hershey down for the coverage, and he brings him down. And again, Coach, not great field position starting out for Marion Local, even though last time they scored a 78-yard touchdown after a catch by B.J. Walters.
Yeah, Marion Local has only had 2 first downs in the first half, and of course didn't have a first down there when they hit the big play. So
Knapke hands the football off, and a nice hit by Ardner in there, and also Fisher is taken off as Travis Unrast picks up about 5 yards on the carry.
Again, sprint draw action, and it looked like St. John's was loosened up a little bit. You know, 78-yard touchdown pass loosened you up a little bit.
Just a little bit. Second down 5 from the 37. 24-8, Jays on top. They fake the pitch and go with the handoff, and pick up of a couple of more yards as they give it to Aaron Winter, the fullback this time. Aaron with over almost 300 yards rushing this season. Time of possession, as Mike mentioned before in that first half, big time J-way, as it was 18.5 minutes, almost 5.5 minutes for the Marion Local Flyers. And right now, Marion Local trying to use some of that clock to get some points on the board themselves. Pass play, Knapke, right side, and that one is knocked down by Hershey, and Hershey could have both hands up. He might have picked that one off. So that's going to set up a 4th down, so Marion Local can't convert, which means they're going to have to punt the football away with 3 minutes and 5 seconds remaining here in this third quarter.
Well, this is going to be the first time with a punt that they're going to have, depending on what the return ends up being, but it looks like again, getting a little field position to the advantage of Marion Local here in the second half.
Fisher and Hershey back there as Unrast gets the foot into it. Fisher calls for a fair catch at the 25-yard line. And that is where St. John's will set up their offense, 1st and 10. It's getting kind of nippy up here, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit. I'd like to thank all the fine folks here at Lima Stadium for making our stay so welcome. I tell you, when you get this time of the year, you got everybody and his sister trying to get into the press box. Always nice and warm up here, and media galore. So we appreciate them providing us with a nice spot up here in the press box here on this Saturday night. 1 week away from the state championship game. Of course, one of these teams will go on and play the winner of the Danville football game against Norwalk St. Paul, and hopefully we'll have the results of that before this game, when this game is over as well. Zach Weber trying to get to the outside, and he won't. Winner in on the tackle for Marion Local, as we've seen Zach make that cut several times here tonight, but that was on the short side of the field, and they had that covered pretty well.
It's amazing how, you know, they get that their touchdown, they get something going, and all of a sudden, you know, that defense is handling plays that they've had trouble with the whole game up to this point very well. But they got to stay disciplined.
2nd down, 8. McCormick looking over the defense. Now he'll go with the handoff, and Weber is going to pick up another 5 or 6 yards. He worked hard for those. So it's going to be a 3rd and short again, facing the Delphos St. John Blue Jays.
You know, another thing with Weber's size, or the one thing to his advantage, though, is he's hitting that line of scrimmage and he's in full stride. It's not a matter of him having to accelerate once that point, but he hits there and he's got a lot of power, where sometimes bigger backs take a little bit longer to get going.
3rd down, let's call it 1 from the 34-yard line. 2 minutes, 18 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Scott McCormick, I formation. Movement on the defensive line, and flags will fly, and looks like that one's going to go against Marion Local. And if it does, it'll be a 1st down for St. John's. And it is, so St. John's will pick up the 1st down, moving 5 yards closer.
5-yard penalty is on to the 39. Is the Blue Jays' 1st down.
I'd like to thank I&K Distributing, 1600 Gressel Drive in Delphos, Central Soil Company, 234 South Jefferson in Delphos, and Quick Change Oil and Lube at 111 Westwood Drive in Van Wert. Some of our great sponsors here on Fox. 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. McCormick gives it to Miller. Miller picks up 5, continues on forward. Tell you, he's been a workhorse tonight for St. John's. The fullback, just a sophomore, too.
He's got some good size and continues to pick up yardage and making Marion Local defend him.
One minute, 27 seconds remains here in this 3rd quarter of play. 2nd down, 3 now for Delphos St. John's. 47-yard line. Again, running out of the I formation. This time they've got 2 split wide left. There's the option pitch to Weber. Weber cuts it back up, picks up the 1st down and a little bit more. And the Jays continue to roll. Let's go down to Scott Stiles, who I believe is on the opposite side of the field, over on the Blue Jay side.
I am. I'm watching this option being run to perfection. I mean, you know, an option is a triple threat. You attack the defense in 3 separate areas. You got the fullback, and you got the quarterback keeper, and then you got the pitch. And tonight they're just running to perfection, and it is a hard thing to stop. Marion Local at times is coming up with some big plays, but overall, Delphos is dominating with the option with McCormick handling the ball. They're doing a great job tonight. Back to you guys.
1st and 10 for Delphos St. John's. We're under a minute now, this 3rd quarter. McCormick. Zach Weber goes in motion, looking his way. Now they go long, and it is thrown behind his intended receiver for St. John's, and that was Travis Johnson. Travis, a 170-pound junior. And so that means St. John's will face a 2nd down and 10. Remember, when this game is over, we'll go down on the field. It's kind of cold down there. We'll still go down and talk to our player of the game, which Mike Richards will be choosing. Sponsored by the Commercial Bank. McCormick, option again, gets the pitch off to Becker. He got hit as soon as he got rid of the football, though, and he still picks up, I should say to Weber, and Weber still picks up about 5 yards. Schmocker's in on the tackle for Marion Local.
As we mentioned earlier, he's been the leading tackler for the Flyers all year long.
Well, that means St. John's going to be faced with a third down situation. And they take Miller and Becker out of the lineup and go with Bowers. And they give it to Bowers, and he is met as soon as he gets the football. Nice defense there by Marion Locals, trying to catch who that was. It slapped him as soon as he got the football. Number 76, too, was in there. And that would be Ryan Evers. And 62, Scott Creamer. So that means it's a fourth down for Delphos St. John's as quarter number 3 comes to an end. We're 12 minutes away from finishing this one up from Lima Stadium with our score, Delphos St. John's 24, Marion Local 8.
Ever heard of drive-in claim service? No? Well, who's your insurance agent?
Your local Allstate agents are Jim and Karen Dickman on Elida Road in Delphos. Call them at 692-2236.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
For years, since you were a very small child, we've been helping your family. Always there, quietly providing support when it was needed. Now it's your turn. A family of your own, with all the joys and responsibilities that families bring. And we're still right here, where we've always been.
Citizens Bank of Delphos, your hometown bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. WOHL Lima Fox Station, in cooperation with the Ohio High School Athletic Association, is proud to present tonight's playoff game. A fee has been paid to the OHSAA for the broadcast rights of this game. Without the support of the following businesses, this game would not have been possible. Morris Chiropractic Clinic. Make a U-turn to health. Visit Drs. Thomas and Roger Morris at the Morris Chiropractic Clinic in Delphos. Kewpie Hamburger, home of the Mighty Nice Hamburger. Kewpie East, Kewpie West, and Kewpie Downtown. Delphos Food Locker, now featuring a variety of fresh meats, cheese, and frozen specialties like appetizers and soups. Stop by the Delphos Food Locker today. A&J Woodworking, expert craftsmen of fine cabinetry and certified Corian fabricators. Call A&J Woodworking at 695-5655. United Equity Incorporated, located in Delphos, Spencerville, and Kossuth, your locally owned farmers cooperative. Reliable Plumbing and Heating. Call Reliable Plumbing and Heating at 695-2921 for all your plumbing, heating, and air conditioning needs. Reliable also has 24-hour emergency service. Community First Bank and Trust is now offering 6.0 annual percentage yield CDs for 9 months with a minimum deposit of $500. Limited time offer which may be changed at any time. APY accurate as of announcement date for personal deposits of less than $100,000. Interest penalty for early withdrawal, member FDIC. WOHL Lima Fox Station congratulates all student athletes and wishes them the best on their road to the state championship.
Well, the Delphos St. John Blue Jays are 12 minutes away from going to Canton. They are on top of the Marion Local Flyers, 24-8. Let's look at some of those third quarter numbers there, Coach.
Well, with that 78-yard touchdown play from Mitch Kanapti to B.J. Walters, that allowed Marion Local to get a little bit of positive numbers, up to 102 now total yards.
But wow, there's a fake punt. It's going to be kept by Fisher. He picks up the first down, and much, much more. The Blue Jays, with the old trick play, the punt was not going to happen as Martz did the fake. They snapped it to Fisher, and Jeff Fisher picks up the first down.
Ideal position for that play, inside your 40. You've punted it already 3 times from that position right now. Maybe Marion's planning on you punting the ball because you've got the lead, you play the field position in the game, and they do it.
Let's get now to Scott Stiles.
Well, I was in the huddle. I knew what was coming up. I wasn't allowed to say. Plus, she didn't come down to me. But March did a great job of selling out with the fake. And Fisher is so elusive. He has so many moves with those hips and legs. He does an excellent job of working his way upfield. Got a big first down. Those kind of plays will kill you.
Yep, and St. John's on the move again. They go handoff. And a pickup of maybe a yard, if that. Bowers, I believe, with the football that time. And that was Jordan Bowers. And right now, Coach, things do not look very good, again, for Marion Local.
Now they got their backs against the wall, and they're just going to have to, buckle it up here and see if they make something happen. Still no turnovers for St. John's.
That was one of the big keys that we talked about prior to this football game. And St. John's now going to be faced with a second down 9 from the 13-yard line. McCormick will go with the option keeper, and he goes down after a pickup of just a couple of yards. They're reading that option a little bit better now. But a little bit too late at this point, down by 16 points, and right now the Jays in pretty good shape of scoring yet again here in this contest. Any other numbers there that stand out?
Well, still only one more first down for Marion Local, and of course they gave them one on the long play, so it's then 3 first downs, 16 from St. John's. St. John's has 261 total yards as opposed to Marion Local's 102, and they've got 253 yards net rushing.
Zach Weber with 130 yards after 3 quarters of play. Pass play, McCormick gets it to his receiver, Miller. Touchdown, Blue Jays. Adam Miller out of the backfield. The fullback will score at the 10:07 mark of our 4th quarter. Jays on top 30-8. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Well, it all comes down to the ball handler, McCormick. What a great little play action. That's Miller pop out into the flat. We've seen that play work so many times this year. What they do is run 2 guys deep, then Miller pops out through the line, out in the flat area. It's wide open. It's like a clear out. Works every time this year, it seems like, for them. Nobody's been able to pick that up defensively. Once again, they capitalize on it, hit it with a big score. That score right there, you start hearing the nail go right into the coffin right there. It's not all the way down yet. Got a lot of time left, but starting to tap on it. Back to you.
Scott reminiscing from his high school and college playing days when he heard the old nail go through many a time. Extra point by Bittler is good, and St. John's on top of the Marion Local Flyers, 31-8.
Yeah, again, using the special teams play, the fake punt, allowed them to get that first down and take it on in for the score.
So Marion Local going to get the football back again, needing to score some points. I'd like to thank a couple more of our sponsors here on Fox, the St. Rita's Medical Center in Lima. Call a nurse if you can find one at 226-9000 or 1-800-43-RITAS. And I'd like to thank St. Rita's because they've been a sponsor all season long. Appreciate them being with us here on Fox. Also, Reliable Plumbing and Heating. Call for 24-hour emergency service, as well as Knievel & Sons Plumbing and Heating. Your comfort is our concern. Down to 10 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in this one. 31-8 is our score right now. And Delphos St. John's going to be kicking off. At least we think Doug Martz is going to kick off. Little joke there, Mike. See, he was going to punt before.
Yeah. It'd be hard to fake a kickoff, wouldn't it?
See, we're on the Marion Local side right now. It's kind of quiet over here. Quiet in the press box. Kickoff by Martz, gets a foot into it, drives him all the way down inside the 10, and Raz takes it across the 15, the 20, and he will go down inside the 25-yard line. You know, there's that special teams again. We've seen it all season long. The Blue Jays on punt coverage and kick coverage just do a fantastic job.
A very important part of a ball game.
The winner of this contest, it looks like the Jays at this point will take on either Norwalk, St. Paul, or Danville. And we're going to try to, hopefully when we do our post-game show, we'll have the final there to see which those 2 schools it's going to be. Handoff, pick up for about 5 or 6 yards. That's Unruss again.
Norwalk St. Paul would be another Northwest Ohio team in the state finals.
Of course, Mike Richards here, a member of the Northwest District Board, who helps pick all the site selections, don't you, Mike?
For some sports, Carl.
Never want to admit to it, though, huh? Kanapke back to throw, looking downfield. He's going to have to eat this one as the Jays defense all over him again. Let's see who was in there that time. Number 61, Matt Schwinnen in for the Jays. 95 tackles this year. The 5'9", 205-pound senior.
Third down.
Sets up a third down situation now for the Marion local Flyers. 9 minutes remaining here in this ball game.
Yeah, with the three divisions decided last night, two of them have Northwest Ohio teams in going to Canton or Massillon.
You had to present some awards last week, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
As a Northwest District board member?
Yeah, I was up at Fostoria for the regional final game of Liberty Center, and they played Sycamore Mohawk.
Debbie Moore presented the trophy to the Delphos St. John Blue Jays last week over at Salina. Assistant Commissioner, Ohio High School Athletic Association. 1st and 10 now as Marion local picks up that first down. From the 35 now, Kanapke wants to throw. He throws it up in the air on that right sideline, and a nice job again by Craig Hershey as he went up with Adam Grisham, knocked it down, so nice job by Hershey.
Had John Dickerson here tonight, Assistant Commissioner of the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Yeah, I saw you down there trying to chum up with him a little bit. Get you a few favors from the OHSAA, huh? Huh? Huh, Mike?
Carl.
Preferred seating, huh? Pass play, Kanapke looking downfield, and he's in trouble. And he squirts through and still picks up some yardage. It could have been worse for him, but nice job there by Kanapke. And good thing for Tim Goodwin is that Kanapke is just a junior. He's going to be back next year for this Flyer offense. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I don't know where you're at.
I'm way over here talking to Mr. Brad Kelly.
Oh.
We're talking about this. I was thinking. What do you think, Bradley?
What side of the field you on?
Unbelievable. This is a machine, this Delphos team, I'll tell you. They're going to be fun to watch over the next week's going to be a fun game, but I think this is, either one of these teams are going to win the state championship.
Oh, boy, that one's picked off by Fisher, and he may go all the way. He cuts it back up the middle, then to the right, and he finally is hammered and goes down inside the 15-yard line. Jeff Fisher with the interception for Delphos St. John's as they are already on top, 31-8. Let's go back down to Scott. Sorry about that, Scott.
Oh, that's okay. Figure's a big play. I finally get somebody to talk to, and he got a big play. What Brad was talking about is either one of these teams feels like, and I agree with him, going into next week, you got to feel like they're going to be the leading contenders to win that state championship. Brad was one of the guys that instituted, Rhino Senior won the state 2 years ago. Brad's one of the ringleaders who raised all the money so all the guys could get rings. So that's what we were talking about there. So back to you.
Word is that Scott Stiles is going to make a large contribution if the Jays would go all the way this year. And
hey, Zaner got me a hat. I wonder if I get a ring with that at the end of the year.
He'll ring you. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line now for Delphos St. John's, already on top by 23 points. They will pitch it back to Weber. Weber off right tackle. Can he get to the outside? He's got one man to beat. Touchdown, Blue Jays. Zach Weber from 15 yards out, and you saw him zing right down there past you, Scott Stiles.
But I tell you what, it got a lot windy. I thought it was a helicopter getting ready to take off, but it was just Zaner coming right at me. That's all it was. You know that nail I was talking about?
Yep.
Hammer just hit it real hard. Back to you.
I wish he would have kind of veered to his right a little bit and lifted you up off the ground. That would have been kind of interesting.
If he would have tried it, I would have dropped him.
So St. John's on top now, 37-8, and we still have 7 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in this football game.
Yep, 4 turnovers that led to 3 scores.
Bittler back to kick the extra point. Kick is up, and it is good. 38-8 is our score now. The Blue Jays, looks like they're going to head to Canton, Coach, and take on the winner of that Norwalk St. Paul and Danville. If Norwalk St. Paul wins, be a rematch between the two schools. St. John's played Norwalk St. Paul a couple of years ago. Boy, talk about a high-powered game. I think that was a 42-26 final, something like that, if I remember right.
And it was a shootout.
remember that real well.
And if I remember right, too, that game, St. John's was down quickly, a couple of touchdowns, and had to battle back to win that one.
Who's the big tight end from St. John's?
Roadhouse.
Yeah,
Greg Roadhouse is now playing for the University of Toledo.
Had a great game there, of course, with all the others on the Blue Jay team that year. But I remember he showed a lot of agility and real soft hands for a big fella.
Down to 7 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in this one.
Interesting fact about maybe next week's opponent, Norwalk St. Paul. Their only loss came to...
We just heard a third quarter score that Norwalk St. Paul is winning 42 to, what do you say, 12?
12, I believe so.
So it looks like it is going to be a rematch between St. John's and Norwalk St. Paul.
Norwalk St. Paul's only loss came to Tiffin Calvert, the team that Marion Local defeated handily last week in the regional finals.
Ball taken at the 13-yard line. And turned about 5 yards or so, 10 yards, I should say, out to about the 23-yard line. So that is where, it looks like they mark it up a little bit. It's hard to see down there. It's like they're the 26-yard line. So that's where Marion Local is going to set up their offense, 1st and 10.
Scott in that helicopter?
Scott is ready to be picked up to take him to his next destination after this football game, which, no, he won't show up anyway. No, he's talking about that. 1st down and 10 for Marion Local. They pitch the football back. There's a fumble, and finally going down is Unrast, but that was close too. Scott, you still down there?
Boy, guys, it's a great view up here. I wish you could see.
Where you at now?
Well, I'm in the helicopter. Hey, boys are starting to celebrate on the sideline here. Don, Carl wanted me to tell you it's a sellout, and he expects the same thing next week.
No, Carl, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's the athletic director from Delphos, once again reaffirming that Carl Metzger does not know what the heck he's talking about. Coach, I hope you're with us next week so we can run this show.
Oh, that's pretty funny, Scott. Yeah, I was telling Don this is going to be a sellout, and he kept telling me, no, Carl, no, no, no. See, he watched the locker room show today. He's one of the few guys who watched the locker room show. That's where that little announcement was made. 2nd down, 8 for the 27-yard line. Mitch Kanapke will go with a handoff, left tackle. Nice pickup that time, close to a 1st down. And that was Unrast again. 6-footer, 180 pounds, a senior. A lot of the fans that were here before have begun to file out of Lima Stadium, but it was packed at one time, and there's still some fans standing behind the fences down in the southern part of the stadium.
Large part of the crowd arrived awful early today.
Yeah, they had their blankets out in the bleachers already. Some said around 4 o'clock or so. 3rd down, and now they're going to say 1st down. And so the drive continues for Marion Local. Remember, we're going to go out in the field and talk to our player of the game. Mike Richards has a few candidates in mind at this point.
Pick a small guy that shirt's
That's right. Remember the rules. Have to pick somebody small. Shirt's a medium, or it's a one-size-fits-all. Kanapke back to throw, looking downfield. Now he's out of the pocket, brought down by the defense. Let's see, getting in there for St. John's was number 86. And that would be Jeff Klaus, as St. John's got their... Start picking some guys out here, Coach, because you're going to see the Blue Jays start running some new numbers in here. See, I see most of the guys still back in there. There are a few new ones. But the basic defensive unit's still there. Handoff will go to Kanapke, or rather to Unrast, and he picks up a couple of more yards. Time, though, is ticking away here in this 4th quarter as we are approaching the 5-minute mark. 38-8 is the score.
There's a heavy dew on the field. Doing any more to the footing?
Scott, how's that dew out there on the field you were talking about?
You know what? You guys want
chemical formula you came up
Carl,
with?
you can't run on dry grass, so you don't know what the heck you're talking about. I'm telling you, the field's wet and it's hard in traction.
High concentration of dew, if I remember right. Kanapke wants to throw, looking down that left sideline, and it's a little bit too much underneath that one. So that's going to set up a 4th down, and St. John's is going to get the football back again with 4 minutes and 48 seconds remaining. And so here comes the punt squad for the Marion Local Flyers. You know, even if Marion Local, although Marion Local is going to lose this football game, what more can you say for what Tim Goodwin has done for the Marion Local Flyers as their first-year head coach? High snap is going to get by Enrast. He's in trouble, and he is going to be brought down. Nice job by the Jays again. And in there that time looked like number 66 for Delphos St. John's, and that was good old Chad Martin. And so they're knocking on the door again. And we may see the second team come out, and I think we're going to for Delphos St. John's. Already up 38-8. And so that would mean that Jordan Bowers will be their main running back, and you will see Adam Johnson as their quarterback. And let's see what they can do on a 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. Start picking some guys out here, Coach. Casey Klaus, split wide right. Also Matt Conley in there, number 20, split wide left.
Adam Johnson, a quarterback.
And he will hand the football off. Not much there as they give it to Brad Utrip in that fullback position. 68 is in for St. John's. That would be Jason Tiemann.
Weston Morris, number 62, is in there.
A couple more guys coming in for St. John's. Andy Kill, number 3, just a sophomore. You're going to see the second team defense as well come in for Marion Local with 4 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in this contest. Johnson goes with the handoff to Bowers, and Bowers, a tough ball player. He gets down inside the 5-yard line. Still short of the 1st down, though, for the Blue Jays. Toby in on the tackle for the Flyers, number 88. Going to spot it at the 7-yard line. Number 38, Ian Weber, tailback position now for St. John's. Kyle Godey's in, number 89.
Casey Klaus put out left here.
They go to Ian Weber, and he is going to be tackled by number 70, Jim Gear, for the Marion Local Flyers. Now it is going to be a 4th down situation. Let's see what the Jays decide to do here on 4th down. Still need about 4 yards to pick up the first. That's called a long 3. And looks like they're just going to go ahead and go right at her. See if they can pick up the first or get a touchdown on a 4th down and 3 from the 5. Weber and Utrip in the backfield. Johnson at quarterback. He will go with the pitch to Weber. Weber cuts it back up, and he is going to be short of the touchdown, but how about the 1st down? Can't tell from this angle where they've marked it at in relation to the stick. Nope, they're going to say that the Marion Local defense is held, and that means that the Flyers will get it with 2 minutes and 37 seconds. They'll bring their second team offense out, and I almost said Keith Richards. Coach Richards will tell you about some of the guys on offense from Marion Local. But your eyes are better than mine there, Coach. I can help you a little bit. John Rose, number 10, is in the ball game. Number 26, Vaughn Ray. Number 37 is Jesse Hine. Quarterback will be John Rose, number 10. He is a 6'1" junior, 165 pounds.
Vaughn Ray split out to the right.
And they will go with the handoff up the gut. pickup of a couple of yards, but this one's going to be over. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Well, guys, we're trying to get everybody in that can get all this playoff experience. A lot of, Don just came over to the athletic director and gave Todd a big hug and said, well, buddy, you got one game away your first year. You got a lot to be proud of what he does, you know. He came into a pressure situation where a lot of people probably wouldn't want. I mean, you know, the first-year young guy coming in, established, the program already established, and he's done a heck of a job of directing these guys to another state finals. You couldn't ask any more out of this football team and out of him. He's done an excellent job, and he deserves a lot of credit because a lot of guys come in here try to make changes, and he didn't. Kept everything in control, let the kids do what they do best, and that's play football. And we're going for the third straight championship. Back to you.
So it's going to be a 3rd down and 8 situation. The ball is going to be spotted at the 7-yard line for the Marion Local Flyers. I'd like to remind you that we're going out on the field here in just a couple of minutes and talk to our player of the game. Player of the game is always sponsored by our good friends at the Commercial Bank. Handoff is going to be close to a 1st down for Marion Local, depending on what the spot is.
Ball carrier for Marion Local, 29, Greg Schulte.
Greg Schulte, the ball carrier for the Marion Local Flyers. And that will be a pickup of a 1st down for the Marion Local Flyers. But time is running out. Down to 1:15 remaining in this football contest. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors who made it possible tonight that the Fox crew was here. And looking forward to being at Campton next week with all the action right here on Fox. Down to 1 minute remaining. I'd like to remind you, too, high school basketball season will get underway on Friday, December the 10th. Lincoln View at Perry. You can join Bob Arnzen and me for all the action right here on Fox. Down to 46 seconds. Second down is 7. They'll go with the pitch. Out to the 15-yard line, and that's going to be about it, but he's going to be driven out of bounds, I believe, and they are going to say he stayed in bounds. So the clock will continue to tick, and that might have been our final play of this ball game, depending on how fast they get back to the line of scrimmage. Down to 18 seconds. Jays fire off the fireworks in the background, and one of those things that don't make a lot of fans real happy when you're on the opposing team, I'll tell you that. But they are going off, and the Blue Jay fans are going nuts. Down to 4 seconds, and this will be our ball game. The Delphos St. John Blue Jays are going to the state finals, and they're going to be taking on Norwalk St. Paul. Final score 38-8. Delphos St. John's postgame show coming up next on Fox.
We're proud to be ranked #1 in the uniform industry. But more importantly, we've been voted #1 for 2 years right here in West Central Ohio. Let our dedicated staff make your business look like a winner with our smart and professional uniforms. Your business will look like a winner with professional uniforms delivered right to your door. Our customized entry mats will make a great first impression with all your customers. Keep your employees and your business looking sharp with Van Dyne Crotty.
Swing of things at CR Golf in Delphos. Before you hit the course, work on your swing at CR Golf's indoor range. CR Golf, 331 North Main in downtown Delphos.
Soybean is considered one of the world's most efficient and affordable sources of food and food protein. Central Soya Company in Delphos is one of our nation's leading manufacturers of oilseed products. A vast array of products are derived from this oilseed, such as baby food, cookies, non-stick cooking spray, soup, breakfast mix, and more. We take pride in our role as a corporate citizen and look forward to future community service. Central Soya Company, serving our customers, our community, and our employees.
Inn in Delphos. Whether it's soups, salads, sandwiches, lunch, or dinner, the Carriage Inn in Delphos has home-cooked recipes for all ages. Lots to choose from on the sandwich board. There's a different kind of soup in the kettle every day, and the dinner entrees are magnifique. A Friday night tradition in Delphos is Carriage Inn fish, all you care to eat, and plenty of sides to go with it. If you can find room, sample a piece of homemade pie, baked daily, at the Carriage Inn, 1201 East 5th Street in Delphos.
Welcome back to Lima Stadium. Our football game is over. The Delphos St. John Blue Jays are advancing to the state championship game, 3rd straight season, looking for their 3rd straight
state championship. Tonight they knock off a very good Marion local squad. Final score was 38-8. Time now for our post-game show and the presentation of our nice shirt from our good friends at the Commercial Bank. The Commercial Bank, where you are always a winner. And tonight, our player of the game is the quarterback for the Delphos St. John. Boy, he's giving him the shirt already.
Well, he's only
Are you supposed to wait until we talk to him first? Quarterback for the Blue Jays, Scott McCormick. Scott, congratulations.
Thank you, Carl.
Of course, Scott, the thing we want to talk to you about tonight is you guys came in, you knocked off Marion local the first time, 24-7. This game had been built up to be a great, great game. And you guys kind of shut them down defensively, and the offense, had some problems in the first half a little bit, but you end up scoring some big points.
We knew coming into this one it was going to be a dogfight. So they came out pumped up, and they held us a few times. And we had a few adjustments, found out we could run the option better. And, the defense played another great game and a total team effort tonight.
Let's talk about the option. What was the key here? You say you found something there that could let you run the option better. What'd you see?
Well, we had the option all year, and on the Parkway game it started getting better and better. And we found we could exploit them with the option because the read man first came down, and then it was me and Zach, and I just found some holes and went with it.
Okay, you're going to the state championship game, and I believe we heard the score up there in the third quarter. Norwalk St. Paul was up big, so it looks like a rematch from a couple of years ago when you guys played Norwalk St. Paul. How's it feel to be going to another state championship game? And you guys haven't lost yet either. How many games? 43 in a row now you guys have won, so you don't know what it's like to even lose, do you?
No, and I hope I don't find out. Norwalk's a great team. We played them 2 years ago, and we know they're going to come in ready to play. They had us down 14-0 early, so we really have to have a good week in practice.
Okay, we got a shirt for you, Scott. We're going to present it to you. Hold that up for the cameras. Scott McCormick, quarterback for the Jays, there it is, player of the game, sponsored by our good friends at the Commercial Bank. Congratulations, Scott. We'll see you next week, okay? Scott McCormick. Oh, you gave him his helmet back, too. Don't limp anymore either, okay? Let's wrap things up here from Lima Stadium. A big win for Delphos St. John's guys. We're heading to Canton to watch these guys again. We're bringing you folks out there all the action. But Mike Richards has got some key stats. Mike.
Well, you look at the total yards, and St. John's had 319 total yards as opposed to 118 for Marion local, and of course 78 yards of Marion local's total yardage. You cold, Carl?
It's cold.
On that one pass play from Mitch Kanapke to B.J. Walders, and so that basically was the story. Time of possession was almost twice as much for St. John's as opposed to Marion local.
And, of course, we're going back to Canton to watch the Blue Jays take on the Norwalk St. Paul. That was a barn burner the first time those two teams got together. But, again, what we said prior to this football game was this probably was what the state championship game was going to be most like.
More likely. That's a consensus from everybody. And, we talked before the game, it's going to be hard to score 2-3 touchdowns against this Delphos defense. And when you get behind this team, it's almost impossible to come back in this season. You got forced turnovers and everything. And Marion local wasn't able to establish anything tonight, and Delphos once again steamrolled the second half.
Okay, and the Blue Jays win 38-8. Post-game show brought to you by our good friends at the Commercial Bank, where you are always a winner. You can bring in any CD ad from a local institution, and they will match the rate and terms. Some restrictions may apply. Member FDIC. We will be back again. We're at this point next Saturday night. We know for sure that we'll be at Canton to watch the Delphos St. John Blue Jays take on, we believe to be, Norwalk St. Paul. So I hope you tune in for that particular high school football championship game right here on Fox. Again, our final score from Lima Stadium, it was Delphos St. John's advancing to the state championship game by knocking off the Marion local Flyers 38-8. For Mike Richards and Scott Stiles and the whole Fox crew, until next time, this is Carl Metzger saying so long, everybody.
Always something cooking at the Carriage Inn in Delphos. Whether it's soups, salads, sandwiches, lunch, or dinner, the Carriage Inn in Delphos has home-cooked recipes for all ages. Lots to choose from on the sandwich board. There's a different kind of soup in the kettle every day, and the dinner entrees are magnifique. A Friday night tradition in Delphos is Carriage Inn fish, all you care to eat, and plenty of sides to go with it. If you can find room, sample a piece of homemade pie, baked daily, at the Carriage Inn, 1201 East 5th Street in Delphos.
WOHL Lima Spock Station, in cooperation with the Ohio High School Athletic Association, is proud to present tonight's playoff game. A fee has been paid to the OHSAA for the broadcast rights of this game. Without the support of the following businesses, this game would not have been possible. Morris Chiropractic Clinic. Make a U-turn to health. Visit Drs. Thomas and Roger Morris at the Morris Chiropractic Clinic in Delphos. Kewpie Hamburger, home of the Mighty Nice Hamburger. Kewpie East, Kewpie West, and Kewpie Downtown. Delphos Food Locker, now featuring a variety of fresh meats, cheese, and frozen specialties like appetizers and soups. Stop by the Delphos Food Locker today. A&J Woodworking, expert craftsmen of fine cabinetry and certified Corian fabricators. Call A&J Woodworking at 695-5655. United Equity Incorporated, located in Delphos, Spencerville, and Cassus, your locally owned farmers cooperative. Reliable Plumbing and Heating. Call Reliable Plumbing and Heating at 695-2921 for all your plumbing, heating, and air conditioning needs. Reliable also has 24-hour emergency service. Community First Bank and Trust is now offering 6.0 annual percentage yield CDs for 9 months with a minimum deposit of $500. Limited time offer which may be changed at any time. APY accurate as of announcement date for personal deposits of less than $100,000. Interest penalty for early withdrawal, member FDIC. WOHL Lima Spock Station congratulates all student athletes and wishes them the best on their road to the state championship.
There was a time when your child's savings were invested locally by people you knew and trusted. But today you need to be more careful because while out-of-state banks want you to think their interests are in your community, about as soon as you get your deposit slip, they send that money somewhere else.
Where's my money go, Daddy?
When you see this sign, you know we are investing in your community.
Tired of driving everywhere looking for a present? Here's a great gift for your driver. Pick up a book of wash tickets from Westwood Car Wash in Salina and Van Wert.
Gorgeous. I know. Oh, great. Awesome color. Okay. Awesome color. Let me just hold these up for you so that you can see them too.